Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Good Mike Hunting for a career arc series of Mr. Robin Williams here at We Bought a Mic, a pop culture podcast, a pop culture Jack cast. Welcome to Miss Jennifer Lopez 5th grade class. My name's Ernest.
You be dancing and shit. My name is Hunter. When I grow up, I just want to be alive.
I was going to say that. What do I want to be when I grow up? Alive. I'm Drew.
And Collin, now when you grow up, you wanted to be a gynecologist, right?
When I grow up, I used to want to be like my best friend Jack, but now I want to be like my best friend Hunter.
Oh, the big man.
It's because I'm dying.
It's because you're a lot like Robin in this movie.
Yeah, I was
You're
a
hairy.
really horny 10-year-old. I was just hairy all the time.
You were definitely horny.
My best friends' moms were just always trying to fuck.
Welcome back to the show, Collin Goode.
Thank you for having me on. Super pumped to talk about Jack, a little Coppola gem, may you will. And it's available on Disney Plus. So
It is.
when
On the
when you're
Blues.
watching Marvel, Star Wars, you can just watch some Jack.
Yeah. So this is a film by Sofia Coppola's dad.
Right.
As
Nick
he's
Cage's
listed.
uncle.
Yeah, who had a bit of a film career. This was the apex of it.
So, Collin, you pounced on this movie as soon as we announced that we were doing this series. I think you texted Hunter at like 2:40 in the morning.
Like literally the poll was not closed yet, and you said, "Hey, I have dibs on Jack."
Everyone was
And
like,
here's the thing,
no one wants
literally
this.
nobody. We had no other messages. There
You're
was
like-
other people who were like fighting over Birdcage or Goodwill Hunting or whatever, and you're like, "I'm getting Jack. I'm staking
Yeah.
my claim that I want Jack."
This is
So
all news.
why is that?
Yeah, this is all news to me. I thought Jack was going to be like the ironic one to go, like how people are going to see Minions right now. Like there's just like a big like, oh, Jack is going to be the one to like get caught. So I just had to do it.
That
Do you
would have been
think-
the hot Zoomer craze back then, is like the gentle Jacks.
Well, do you think-
you wear
do you think
tux to go
that-
see Jack?
I don't think that's a tux. I think the Gen Z, they would have all worn like just like oversized like baby bibs, like baby onesies, because they're like, I'm also a bit of a Jack myself.
But Robin never looks like that. Robin's wearing kind of like what I'm wearing right now, like a polo. That's really like
you have
his
a lot of
go-to.
Jack-like tendencies.
Yeah,
you
yeah. I'm channeling my inner 5th grader right now, and that's what Robin Williams is doing in this movie.
He doesn't. A common misconception I feel like regarding this film, especially if you learned about it via Tropic Thunder, as I did, he is not someone with the brain of a 5th grader. He is a 5th grade 10-year-old boy in this movie. A choice that sent the film industry rattling for
You
years
never
to
go
come.
full Jack.
We
You
never-
never go full simple Jack.
Obviously, so he has a condition. It is based on a form of progeria, which is a real condition.
Benjamin Button disease. Esque.
I was just talking to you about this, Ernest, though. The thing with progeria is it makes really young people look really old. It makes you look like you're 100 when, like, you're fully bald, like no hair, tiny. You're itty bitty, like you don't grow fully. There is no disease where that turns you into the hairiest man to ever live.
You like have like a normal life, but your human growth hormone emits at 4 times the normal human beings just throughout your entire life.
Yeah, like the closest thing we have is just like being Eastern European. It's the closest thing we have to this disease.
Just having a full beard when you're like 11.
Yeah. So Robin is 10.
Well, okay, hold on a second. Okay. Let's take a breather.
I can't.
Collin, tell us your thoughts about Robin Williams before we dive into the movie.
You know, I'm happy you asked me this, and I had a feeling it was coming. Robin Williams, like, he's not like in like a particular like all-time favorite of mine. He's just pretty great in like everything that he's in. Probably like my earliest Robin memory was Jumanji. I really enjoyed listening to that podcast. That movie's like super scary as a kid too. So that's like my first introduction to Robin Williams. And I mean, he could really just like, do everything. But actually, I have a quick story. I was with Hunter when we found out when Robin Williams passed away.
Mhm.
You
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, we were playing Super Mario 3D World on Wii U.
Nice. This was 2014.
Yeah,
Yeah, 2014. Yeah, that tracks like right after high
peak
school.
Wii U
Yeah,
era.
that was.
Yeah.
Well, Wii U, it had a long life though. Like, who's really to say when the peak
It hasn't
was?
ended. Long tail on that.
The Amiibo Wars era.
Oh yeah, no, you get it.
But Jack was the classic. We had this movie on VHS and we would watch it every now and then, and it was like kind of fun to watch, kind of weird, a little depressing. So we didn't watch it too often. And then it's like fast forward when you're older, you're like, what the fuck? Francis Ford Coppola directed Jack, and then it's like, oh, now I gotta like rewatch it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How many times would you say you watched it like as a family when you were a kid?
Probably like twice, like enough to like kind of remember like, oh, this is the scene where the treehouse falls. Oh, this is when like the kid asks Jack if he ever gets a boner.
This
And,
is
like,
when this is when they, I don't know, make Bill Cosby fart into a can.
you know. That's well, Colin. I don't.
Oh my god.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but this used to play on cable all the time, right? Because I'm pretty sure that I also had like a DVD or maybe it was a VHS of this. But more than that, I remember this playing on cable like all the time. And I can't remember if it was on, at the time, ABC Family, now Freeform, or if it was on like, it wouldn't have been on like TNT or any of those networks because it is like have a little bit more childish quality to it.
Does this
but
movie
also
no drama? Like,
should
really?
It knows drama.
well, characters certainly aren't welcome here, so it
No.
wouldn't have been on USA. But like, I don't. Now in hindsight, if this was on ABC Family, it's like kind of fucked up.
I know Mrs. Doubtfire was on ABC all the time.
Yeah.
a
Oh, all
lot,
the time.
dude.
Well, Doubtfire is pretty tame. Well, I don't know. Doubtfire has some fiery stuff in there.
But that's still a family movie. This, I don't think it should be enjoyed by anyone.
right. So yeah,
I think that no one should watch.
the thing about this movie is that it was a horrible mistake and it should have never happened.
Yeah, you know, like you're like,
absolutely
you know,
not.
you wish like some movies, like God, the movie didn't quite work out, and I just want them to like have a do-over. Like, let's just get the same cast together with The Great Gatsby.
Yeah.
Let's just do The Great Gatsby over again. This, it's like everyone should go to jail. Everyone involved straight to jail.
Some of them are actually in jail already. Or going to.
They should reopen the Bill Cosby trials and be like, now, Francis, you had a fascination with children having sex. Do you want to interrogate that at all? And not to mention, if we're going to go back in your filmography a little bit, there is a 16-year-old who gets fully naked in the first Godfather movie.
So we're canceling The Godfather now. This is the podcast.
All right, Francis, I'm coming for you. No,
in the 70s, it was like illegal to fuck anyone over 18.
Yeah, that's how it was. It's just how it worked back then.
So this movie, 1996, like we said, directed by Francis Ford Coppola. Interesting that like this might be the biggest name that Robin works with. I think Nolan will pop up later and Spielberg pops up at one point. But I mean, this is definitely like Robin making a big movie with a big time director.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't get great reviews at the time. But I think that like this is one of those movies that could only happen with a star like Robin Williams in the position that he was in with his stardom in 1996. Like you don't just hand a movie like this to anyone. Apparently someone said that like Travolta was interested, but
Oh my God.
they didn't want to give it to Travolta because apparently this Robin's deal in this movie was tied to Aladdin, and this was like an apology deal.
Yeah, they apologized to him and he was like, fine, I'll be 10. Whatever.
So this is the second time that has come up where Robin is like mad about the movie that made him successful and then like is just like, I want to make my passion project instead. It happened with Toys,
Right.
where he's just like, I want to work with like the auteur Barry Levinson in Toys, and that movie is insane in its own way. And now it kind of happened again where it's like Robin doesn't really know where his talents are best utilized.
It's just, yeah, that's the thing is because the I can't blame what's wrong with this character on Robin. It's the fact that like it's a 40-year-old guy.
Yeah.
It's an old guy playing a child. Like, he's doing like a fine job of it, but it's like the ultimate leap of faith award that we do at the WBAMs every year. Like, how long does it take me to really believe that this is a kid? One issue that gets discussed on other nameless podcasts sometimes
Redacted.
is when actors are so famous they bring in baggage to a role. This should have, if they must make this movie, it shouldn't be someone mega famous playing the child, because
But it only gets made with someone
I know
famous.
that's why they shouldn't have made it.
Yeah,
But like, I'm going in, you're just way more likely to be like, oh, that's Robin Williams. That's not a little boy. That's Robin Williams. Like, how, like, after like an hour plus, you're still just like,
Okay.
all right, I guess it's a
There's
little boy.
a couple scenes where the Robin magic makes sense.
No,
and
definitely.
you can tell that
he's good at
Yeah.
it. He's a good actor. He's funny. He knows what he's doing, but like, he's so old
Yeah.
and hairy.
It is kind of insane. This movie, like, it kind of killed Francis Ford Coppola. Like, probably the greatest director of the 1970s.
When was Godfather 3?
So Godfather, I'm going to go through the filmography here real quick, is, of course, he has the, like, insane 70s run with The Godfather, Godfather Part 2, and The Conversation the same year.
Apocalypse
Now, 1979. Outsiders, 1983. And then, like, you know, some misses in there. Peggy Sue got married. A couple things, some TV spots here and there. But then comes back with Godfather 3 in 1990. Makes Bram Stoker's Dracula, which has, like, this massive cult following, especially now that, like, that kind of style has become more prominent in more modern films. And then he makes Jack, and the rest of his
This
filmography.
was his follow-up to Dracula?
Yeah.
With
This
Gary
was his
Oldman?
follow-up to
Mank
Dracula.
himself as Dracula?
Yeah. And he got credit for being Dracula.
So I think Jack kind of belongs to this new like group of movies that I'm trying to like get together. Because, you know, there's like Oscar bait movies where it's like, yeah, technically everything's good, but it's kind of boring and it kind of sucks. And then there's like movies that are so bad that they're good. But this movie, it's so misguided that it's fascinating.
That's a perfect way of describing it.
Well, yeah, speak on that, because you gave this 5 stars on Letterboxd. And I want to unpack that, because like in no planet is this a 5-star movie, but it somehow, when I see that, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
you know,
like, it's got to be 5 stars. But I mean, like, all right, like the directing is fine. It's Francis Ford Coppola. I think all the acting is pretty decent for the most part. I think Robin's, you know, pretty good as usual in this. It just boils down to this really bad, misguided script that just should have never been made.
It's a bad idea.
It's basically big without the wish fulfillment, without the fantasy aspect that makes it so fun. It's like, oh, he's actually just like dying. And it's like,
Also, like, weirdly, a lot of this movie, like, it's always so insane whenever the movie takes a dramatic shift, because it feels so out of left field with like the tone of the rest of the movie. The music in particular, I have a lot of thoughts on the music, because
That
it's
bass line.
like Scooby-Doo-ba-da-boo-doo, and you're like, what the fuck is that?
Well,
it's
see,
insane.
That dates it almost more than anything else in the whole movie, because it, like you said, it's shot well, like it's fine, but the movie opens with a horrible Bryan Adams song, like a terrible,
You be dancing and shit.
an absolute dog shit ballad.
Drew, it sounds like Jesse and the Rippers.
well, all right, hold on a second.
It really does.
I took a lot of notes, so if
Yeah.
we're gonna start at the top, we'll start at the
I
top.
start there. So we have this Bryan Adams song, and then also over like the opening credits are in a font that you should never see the name Francis Ford Coppola
Well,
in.
there's a prologue.
It's like seeing it in Comic Sans.
there's like a cold open.
It's like a slapstick cold open for them having a child, like,
Okay.
way too fucking, like, literally 7 months early.
So is that what it is?
Yeah.
Is it first trimester.
Yeah, it's first trimester.
That's insane.
This is what happens every time you have a kid that early.
So my first note is Halloween party ? Adult costume dance ?
Weird.
It's all these people at what looks like a school dance, but they're all full grown adults.
Maybe they also have Jack syndrome. Like it's not addressed that actually all of them also have Jack syndrome. They're like, why does our baby have this? And meanwhile, they're both like 12.
I fully believe that his mom has it because she is like a child in this movie.
There's no explanation to what this event is.
What
Go ahead,
Diane
Colin.
Lane is doing.
So Jack is born on Halloween. Was he born during some like bewitching hour and he's just Kurt?
Wait, no, this is a direct follow-up to Dracula. Mank
He was like-
set a curse on this
Maybe
woman.
he was just like, Dracula, he lives forever. That's boring. I want a guy who grows up real. I want the opposite of Dracula, a guy who ages way too fast.
It makes more sense when you learn that in the movie, Jack's last name is O'Lantern.
Oh, that does it. Yeah.
One thing I wanted to note is the first line of like dialogue at the dance scene is like some ladies sitting there and they're calling Diane Lane like fat and that she's binge eating. Really bizarre way to open.
This is Diane
why?
Lane in the first scene, right? It's not a younger
Yeah.
actor.
Yeah, they're like dancing, and I noticed this last night. Like the first line of dialogue is just like she's so fat, and it's like what?
She looks incredible.
She looks
She hasn't got
considerably
bump
skinny.
either.
It's
She hasn't
also
got
like-
baby bump.
It's like this is like peak Diane Lane right now. Like Diane Lane is incredible.
great.
She's really
Is it so? It's, I mean, it's
something
because
with
she's
the baby.
pregnant that they're saying this.
yeah, I guess so,
So even though she's like barely pregnant,
Well, yeah, but it's by the time they drive to the hospital,
yeah.
she is already. And Matt, this is almost if this really is like a first trimester baby, this is almost like an alien situation in which there is like a growth inside of this woman that is like quickly taken over and is about to pop out and just like
It's her Gabriel.
right,
This is her.
right. So the next note I have is Tin Man walking through a metal detector.
So that's
It's really funny.
that was the thing where it was just like because it starts with them doing like a just doing a little dance together, like a whole like little group setting, like you said, that's in like some kind of a school gymnasium, and then it becomes like super slapsticky, even though it seems like this should be a dramatic situation. Like if you started having contractions and you're only 7 weeks pregnant, I think that would like raise a few flags that I'd be concerned about.
Right.
Like, am I going to be okay? But they do take like 45 seconds for the Tin Man to like take off one piece and then like run through it. Oh, let me take off another piece and then run through it.
Yeah. So this is why the way you described it is so perfect, Colin. It is so misguided that it's fascinating because what are we supposed to react to all of this shit with? It gets worse moving forward, obviously, because Robin Williams is funny on purpose a lot of the time when he's Jack. But
you can tell why he would want to do a role like this.
But then also a lot of the time when things are happening to him, like it's slapstick and it's funny, but it's also set. We'll go back, but this is moving forward just a bit. When he shows up in school for the first time, he sits down at his desk, immediately falls out of it. You're supposed to feel something for him. You're supposed to like be like, oh God, I'm so anxious about his first day. But that's funny. And then he gets in a chair and it breaks immediately.
And
after that,
his acting is like very distressed too.
Yeah.
Like he's not having a good time.
So you don't know if you're
but that's,
supposed
like,
to laugh.
Stupid ass comedy shit. Like it was such a dopey scene.
There's so much of that in this movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jack is born. He's a big, beautiful baby boy.
I did want to say something here because you mentioned the clothes that Jack is wearing. What actor has a bigger change in their wardrobes from one movie to the next as Robin Williams going from the Birdcage, where he is probably the hottest that he has ever been in a film,
To 10-year-old
perfect
Jack.
like satin button-ups, to 10-year-old Jack, where like, dear God, if I like dressed up like that with like just the collared stripe little polos and some shorts that hang like 4 inches past your knees.
He's just transitioning between two different types of lesbian. With these wardrobes.
Well, hold on. Do you guys see that I found the auction listing for his Birdcage shirt?
Yes.
I posted it on the Twitter. It's a Versace like silk shirt.
It's so swagged out.
Sold for
sick.
$3,000.
I'm still thinking about the Birdcage. Watching Jack, I was like, Birdcage was really good.
Were you like, would Jack be better if there was also like
Okay.
another love interest for Just throw him in there too.
Like you said, we have this opening song with this what is it? It's Bryan Adams.
It's Bryan Adams, the guy who did like Summer of '69 and like everything I do. That guy.
So
he sucks.
They're like examining this baby, like so many like there's like what are those things called? The
like calipers.
Yeah,
almost.
Yeah, a lot of calipers. And then we're introduced to Robin, but it's done in a very like well-directed way.
It's
like,
very interesting.
This is when you can see that like, okay, Francis is behind the camera, because this whole sequence of the kids like telling the mystery tale of the giant man that
like
lives
he's
up in the tower.
Like he's like Boo Radley, basically.
Literally Boo Radley.
I think that like Francis Ford Coppola understands that like homeschool kids are weird. Like he gets that fundamental pack about our society. It's like, this is why you put your kids in public school so they can get their ass bullied and grow up to be normal.
Right.
Yeah. So this is I am glad that we get to keep hanging out with these kids.
Oh, they're great.
They're really great. They're written to be the most nasty little boys on earth, and it's really bizarre how horny they are.
I think it's a good thing to introduce them like that and very quickly get to like a more human core.
Yeah, and you also don't know if you're ever even going to see them again. They might just be a device for that scene. And I was looking at them like the kid who plays Eddie, the glasses boy. I was like, that kid that is a baby Moranis.
I loved that kid so much.
Yeah, he's funny. His face is like 1 in a billion.
Perfect casting.
Colin, did you like him? Because he kind of looked like me. Like whenever I was like freshman year of high school, I still looked like that kid.
I just loved all of his goofy faces and just like, man, just being like, I'm 10. It's 1996. I have glasses. I'm just going to thrive for like the next like 5 years and just fully embrace the 90s. I don't buy all the kids. There's the main kid with the mom.
Louis.
Yeah, Louis. And then the kid with the glasses. All the other kids are not very good. And
there's like Spiky Hair Boy. Like they're all like generic kids.
Kind of forget about them.
They're kind of kids that like don't really make sense together. And I think it makes sense when you're 10 because do you guys remember when you're like in 5th grade, you're never friends with the people you started being friends with in 5th grade, because when you're that young, it's like we're friends because we live on the same street as each other. Yeah. We aren't like old enough to have different interests from each other or to have the same interests at this point.
The whole movie, I was calling these boys the Grease Gang.
No, so I want to talk about Louis' fit, because Francis Ford Coppola made The Outsiders.
Yeah, he's an Outsiders.
He just straight up brought a greaser into 1996.
It's so weird.
If I saw a 10-year-old dressed and acting like this with a little swoop haircut and everything,
he definitely saw Terminator 2.
I think he saw Pulp Fiction too. Came out 2 years prior. Okay. He definitely, Fran is not there as a parent. Like we can talk about her parenting style.
The nanny.
But I think that he just kind of had access to a lot of like way too much too young. So he watched
he's dressing like all the men that fuck his mother.
Oh my God.
Which is apparently like all the time, because she is just like putting out.
Horny all the time.
She says 2 words to a 10-year-old who looks like Robin Williams, and she's like, "Fuck me now."
I was shocked she didn't turn out to be a stripper.
No,
I know. Well, I think she has to be peddling some kind of like ass.
Well, she does say something that just like whenever she just like, you can always, if I'm not like, if you don't want to call me at work, like you can call me. I'll be at the club. I frequent the club, and you're like, does she? Get around
a hooker?
Like the question needs to be asked about. Like,
is she a hooker? Is she just really?
Robin Williams talks about his mom twice in like a 2-minute span, and she's like,
"That's all right.
Look, I can pick you up from mommy's. Like, we can go back to my place right now." Mommy.
And the kid, by the way, Louis, when she's hitting on Robin for the first time, Louis is like, here we go.
Yeah,
like
looking for love in all the wrong places.
Yes, she does this all the time around her son.
So speaking of legally questionable folks, Bill Cosby is in this movie.
Yeah.
Colin, I had never seen this movie before. And let me tell you, when Bill Cosby shows up on screen, I choked.
Bill Cosby, he's not really in that many movies. So when you see that movie, it's weird.
his movie starring career, like, notoriously was one of the biggest failures of any wannabe movie star ever. Like, he was in a movie called, like, Leonard Part 7 that just didn't happen. Like, it flopped so bad.
Of all the horrible, misguided parts of this movie, somehow Bill Cosby sticks out as the worst. And they couldn't have possibly have known that he was as bad as he was in 1996. I mean, when did the show, is the show 80s? When did the show air?
80s and, like, I want to say early 90s.
Right. So they could have had like one conversation with anyone from the set of the show and been like,
well, he was Mr. Family Man. Like, he
Right.
was America's premier family dad. Because after that, there was also the show Kids Say the Darnest Things.
Right.
Hosted by him, literally just talking to kids.
Did you guys
Like,
watch
he was that guy.
Kids Say the Darnest
No.
Things?
Yeah, I saw it.
I used to watch it like all the fucking time. Weirdly, I watched that movie with my dad a lot, and like I didn't grow up living with my dad, and I just remember like it was just a thing of like, well, what are we gonna do, son? It's a Saturday morning. I guess we'll just watch Kids Say the Darnest Things.
That's poor Matt Mobley.
I mean,
Matt Mobley. And now you see him tickling children, and you're like, ooh, icky. I don't know about that.
The first thing he does in the movie, Robin Williams falls, and Bill Cosby's like, "Let me touch your leg and your toe."
He's like, he says that the only way is for me to bite it.
I do have to ask. Yeah, I do have to ask. Like, we'll get to the maggot soup later on, but do we think that like that Bill Cosby served a little bit of maggot soup to the children who were on this?
He's putting.
Jack?
There's some lewds in there.
So, okay. All right. So here's the thing. Bill Cosby has been charged. He's a sex offender, right? Like, he's not
a rapist.
pedophile.
He's gonna spend the rest of his life.
Yeah,
in jail.
Watching this movie makes me ask some questions.
I know, because it's also like all of his victims are women.
Right.
So watching it, I was like, well, I mean, hey, keep him with the boys, man. Like, there are worse places for him to be.
He like sees those like two like 8-year-olds walking around. He's just like, "Hey, ladies, do you want to join the treehouse?"
It was more
Fuck Bill Cosby.
like
Let him rot
it
in
makes
jail.
sense for the time period. I've watched a good amount of Cosby Show, so like I was able to like be like, yeah, this is Cosby Show Cosby. Like,
Yes,
he's just being
that's what
being
he's doing.
the casting makes sense.
it makes sense to put him in this movie because he's good with kids, and also I don't know how much improvisation was done in this movie. It doesn't seem like a ton, but generally speaking, that's also what I was looking for with Robin. I was like, I don't know if this itch is going to be scratched, but the only way to me that this movie would work is if it was a lot of Robin just goofing around with kids, because he's so good at it and so personable. We don't get a ton of that. We get like a little bit, but like if it was shot by like Barry Levinson, Good Morning Vietnam style, like just letting Robin just be like a child and getting out of his way, it would be better.
Okay, so I think that a lot of the lines aren't improvised, but I do think Robin is being Robin, and like all of his mannerisms and stuff like that, like that all seems real to me. Like we're giving Robin, I think, too much of the benefit of the doubt here, guys. I think that we're being too kind to Robin Williams. I think this is kind of a turning point for him because he never goes this insane in another role. Like, I think that this might be like the most
Until
Robin.
like later Robin, like RV maybe.
Yeah, well,
Like,
that's
way
entering
later.
a different stage. And also that's like a different type of, it's like dad kind of insanity. This is the last time that he's doing this childlike,
Literally
kind of
childlike.
like this kind of frenetic, hyper frenetic acting style that like he originally got known for. This is the last movie that has like the maximalist Robin.
Yeah.
And I think that there's like a reason for it. Cause like, I think after this, he even saw it and was just like, all right, maybe I'm not that guy anymore.
Yeah,
maybe
like, "Man,
I should bring this
old."
back just a little bit.
Colin, I have two notes here that I wanted to get your take on. So first, the little eyeball that he pranks the kids with, he throws like a
Epic.
like a gooey eyeball.
It's from like an Epic science like set.
Kids love slime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like a smarty pants kid with rich parents, you know?
Well, it's when he's like in his house. So like, does Jack like never leave?
No,
Never.
like hardly ever.
Why?
It's like Boo Radley. It's like you said.
Because he's homeschooled, and he's also like, you know, like when he leaves and gets to be a real kid, he fucking like has a heart attack.
We'll get to that.
Like he, you know, and also, I'm sure his parents are like, well, we
They
can't.
can take him to the store. Like he's not like scary.
I think he's,
I don't know,
I think
though.
he's been to the store.
His first time being around like other children on the playground, he's like making animal noises and shit like that. Like he doesn't really know how
because
to.
he's never been to school. Like he's just been hanging out with his mom, like being a kid, and which is also why like she's weirdly a kid in this movie. Like she has to deal with like this weird like empty nest syndrome. Like, oh, I don't have anyone to be goofy with. And I mean, I don't care.
Hunter said earlier she has Jack syndrome too to some extent.
She has Munchausen's progeria.
Right. The other note that I had, Colin, is did you really feel like he is a normal 10-year-old when he's playing with that caterpillar that turns into a butterfly? Is this like when you watch that you're like, yes, Jack he's just a regular 10-year-old boy? Maybe
because he's homeschooled and that's like a Discovery Channel like kid thing to do, watch a butterfly like come out of the cocoon and just be like, the world is a magical place.
Yeah, he's a weirdo. Yeah.
I mean, were you guys ever really like blown away by Robin Williams acting? Were you ever just like, wow, it's like he's actually 10?
In this movie, there is like maybe one moment where it does kind of reach that level. I think the scene when he's talking to his dad on the phone and his dad is like shooting like a nudie mag or whatever the hell he's doing.
I have so many questions. We just get one snippet
like
of it. It's like
sexy carrot ad.
No, I was like, is he actually like shooting the like centerpieces for Penthouse?
But they really are sitting on giant carrots.
Yeah.
But also like there's like the Budweiser horses are in the background too. So it's like
like a knockoff. It's not Penthouse.
Why are carrots there?
Because I think he is.
This
I
is
think
like
it's
a
a gag
table
of like,
situation.
like I'm an ad man. I'm doing like a sexy carrot. I'm making carrots sexy.
Right.
I think that's the joke.
It's just for carrots.
We keep saying though that is really weirdly misplaced in this movie. It doesn't make, but it's funny. It just doesn't make sense.
Robin's acting on the other end of that phone call, I thought was like,
where he's like, he's manic, that conversation. Yes. He's just like, he's popping off.
This is when I could buy it like pretty much all the way that he was putting in a good performance as close to a 10-year-old kid as it gets.
Yeah, that's a good call out, that particular scene. A lot of scenes I feel like have the potential for him to be more realistic, but I feel like they're very lazily written. Because an observation my girlfriend had, for a while watching this, she genuinely thought that like the writers thought that like progeria means that you weirdly like age super fast also at everything you do. Because he starts off really bad at everything and immediately gets so good. Like riding his bike, he can't even get on it, and then like in that same shot he's going no hands.
Right.
And then like later on playing basketball, he literally can't move. And then he's like bouncing the ball in. Like it's so weird.
I'm so glad that you brought basketball. I have so many notes about this, and they all kind of stem from the fact that Francis Ford Coppola, like a lot of film guys, he doesn't watch sports. And I know that because the kids walk up and they say, let's play a game, 1st to 10. No person in the history of pickup basketball has ever played a game to 10 points. That is an insane way to do it. And then also they just like keep playing, and the rules of the game, they're just like losers take it out. So that would imply that you start on offense. But the first time we see them, he is just like playing defense, and then he's continuously playing defense regardless of the team that's scoring until suddenly he's just not anymore.
And then he's great at basketball.
And then he learns how to jump because they say move your feet. And at first he's like fumbling his little feet around. He doesn't know what to do. And then he's just like, oh, I can like bend my knees and then like exert force against the ground and propel myself upward. Oh, cool. I'm just going to do that and then be the best basketball player ever.
He's also like double the height of all these kids.
That's the whole point. He's just so much taller. He doesn't even have to be good.
They might have been my favorite scenes in the entire movie is everything that was happening in the schoolyard sequences.
Yeah, I like the two little girls who talked to him. That one, the one girl who does most of the speaking was she was on Full House. Like I think she was Michelle's friend, right, Colin?
Yeah, I knew you were gonna recognize her, and
yes.
I was gonna bring it up if you weren't. And I was like,
wait, which one? Which one of the two?
The girl who does most of the talking, where she
the glasses girl?
No, the other one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I recognize her too, not from Full House, but she was recently in Spiderhead,
Recently?
a Netflix film.
God.
Wow.
Is she
Does she
40?
look the same?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, she's like in
Does
her.
she? Well, does she look
30s.
8?
No, she looks 80.
What if they find out that Jack syndrome is actually contagious? Like everyone who
Well,
comes
that's
in
why they didn't
contact
want
with him
to
just
touch the
dies.
basketball.
Yeah, that's why they were poking with the stick.
That's funny.
Okay, yeah. What's this? I had it pulled up. Yeah, Journey Smollett. She was also.
Oh, that's Jesse Smollett's sister.
Oh,
I had no idea that this was the same person.
Yeah,
That is so funny. Good catch, Ernie.
Yeah, I recognize her face.
Thank God you watched Spiderhead.
It's a terrible movie. Maybe not as bad as Jack, but I don't know. There is that curve where it's like the worse you get, somehow the better you get.
the more like I will say that this is
It's the parabola theory.
Yeah, I really don't know how to rate this movie because again, if we're going on a pure like fast, I'd never looked away because I was like, what insanity is
I
going
know.
to happen
I
next?
had a ton of fun because also like I was grappling in the moment with like how insanely upsetting
Like-
everything was to my girlfriend.
Yeah, no, because it's just but this is like I had a. I don't know if I want to say a better time. I like had a more memorable time watching this than I did watching Awakenings or something like that.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, it's so in that
fun.
way.
And there is like
Well, yeah,
But
Awakenings
it
is truly the bottom of the parabola.
It is so funny because you're talking about your girlfriend's experience. Congratulations on having a girlfriend.
Thank you. Gee, God,
Now, whenever
I'm
I
letting a
keep having to
random,
say
like,
wife,
Are you gonna invite? Are
yeah.
you gonna invite her to the treehouse?
Yeah, she's not, no girls allowed. I will throw water balloons.
Not
Like,
unless-
the
yeah, not unless
fattest
she-
fucking water balloons.
Not unless she farts.
No, I tried to show this to Gaia, and Gaia was like, "No, it's gonna make me cry," and I was like, "No, it won't."
I bet it did make people cry though in the theater. I
'Cause she was like-
guarantee you.
She was like, the premise of that makes me want to cry, and I was like, you just have to see the execution
He's
of it because I
10.
promise it won't work.
How much do you want to bet that like 85% of grandmas that went to the theater in 1996 cried at the
that took their
valedictorian
grandchildren to this because they were just like, it's fun Robin Williams movie. It's children.
speech. Right.
I loved him in Patch Adams.
And then she's just like, I don't know.
Well, Patch Adams
if I was in
hadn't been
Fran
out in-
Drescher's
Yeah.
position,
Or-
I'd
It's Popeye.
Yeah. It's the guy from Awakenings.
Yeah, it's there also is like another reason it's entertaining is that there is like funny scenes in it. There are entertaining scenes. There are like semi-captivating scenes.
But I mean, there is like some emotional
No, I know.
manipulation happening.
Yeah, no, there's plenty of that. There's also just like the scene, like a very well executed and shot scene is the one where he's inchworming down the stairs in the cardboard box talking to his mom.
That's so.
That was funny.
dude. Well, but
That was
also
a good little scene because it had a rhythm to it with the box, and it also like was important. Like their discussion moved the plot forward. I was like, okay, you're doing a good scene here, guys. Good job.
it's just funny. Whenever I saw that scene, I just could not get Robert Downey Jr. From Tropic Thunder out of my head of just like, you never go full, you
Yeah.
never go full Jack. You never
Yeah.
go full simple Jack.
Simple Jack. Okay, so now that we're at the school, I know we jumped to basketball, which we can talk more about for sure. We got to talk about Jennifer Lopez. So, well, first of all, Jack like really wants to go to school. He doesn't understand why he can't go to school. He's very upset. He can't sleep, so he decides to cuddle in bed with mom and dad, which I thought was a very unsettling and kind of disturbing
You're
moment.
just watching it like imagining the actors. You know, you're like, yeah, they're and action. It's just Robin, and they're like, oh, come here, little guy.
Yeah, I'm sure those parents are just thrilled that their son looks the way he does. Like,
They love him.
I will.
Colin.
So
Wouldn't
Diane,
you love him if he was your son?
here's the
I
thing.
don't know. Like he's like older than me at this point. I don't know if I'm like.
We'll get to that. That's a category. We'll get to that.
So I do have
Jack.
I do have a question here because Diane Lane is like we mentioned, like she has some like childlike qualities. She's clearly like the stay-at-home mom who's
Yeah,
been sitting there
she's
being
been
the
basically
child in his
isolated
life.
too because of Jack. Like they've just been like being weirdos together. So
What
as
is-
a result, like their real true mental age is somewhere in between the two.
What is Jack's relationship with his father? Because I will be honest, maybe it's the performance, maybe it's just Brian Kerwin who
This
plays
guy is
Brian.
so tired.
This guy's
he
like,
looks
I hate
done
this
with this shit.
kid.
He
I
looks.
hate this fucking.
He's just
kid.
like, what if he just dies and we just have another baby? Like, what if we just kill this fucker?
This kid's
Wait
kidneys
out
will
a few more
snap.
Is
like
it too late to
nothing.
abort this fucker? Can we post-birth abort this motherfucker?
Well, what state is this movie set in?
Yeah.
Oh,
Is this
so
California?
It's absolutely California.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
No, because in
Set
Texas,
California.
like, this kid isn't allowed to join elementary school. Like,
Right.
he's not. They're just like, no. No, you're not allowed
You're
here.
fine. You're fine.
Well, Ernest, to go back to Jennifer Lopez, I vividly remember watching it, and I probably watched it in like the early 2000s. And here's Jennifer Lopez, and I remember just being like, she was around back then.
Yeah, I was shocked.
Mhm.
I was like, wow, 96, she's already in movies.
Good
huh?
point. So when is Selena? Because Selena was like her coming out party. I feel like that must have been around this time.
That's the next year.
Yeah, it's
Oh wow!
So
this was the
97,
year before Selena. So this was like a little preview of
Yeah,
her.
it's
but
weird.
she'd already been like a big music star.
I know, and
at this
she,
point.
she already like looks like J-Lo. She's like, she might as well not be in this movie. Like, she's really flat, to be honest.
I thought she was fine.
She has some good moments, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
she causes a man to have a heart attack, so that's fun.
I'm
Look,
not getting
I'd have
much emotion out of her at all,
Guys,
which is like fine.
my heart would stop if I saw Jennifer.
Hey.
Like, let's be honest here. I thought that she was really nice, to be honest. Like, she was just like a nice person. I will say, because it's been like, I don't even know, like 15 years since I've seen this movie, 10, 15 years. And as soon as J-Lo popped up, I forgot that she was in this movie. And I was like, oh no, is that the person? Does J-Lo make out with Robin Williams?
That's the thing.
Fortunately, it's not. We aren't also having the teacher making out with a student.
Well, because
so
if it is, then that would mean the movie has to become about her being a supervillain because she knows that he's 10. The whole thing about Fran Drescher is
she's
that
the
she's
teacher.
just like irredeemably stupid. Like, she's so dumb and horny.
But
but she doesn't know he's a boy.
J-Lo is.
Fran has been lied to explicitly about this man and how old he is.
She does get in the tunnel with Robin Williams, and Robin Williams does sneak a little smooch
While
on
he's
there.
eating his sad little lunch in shame.
His jelly beans.
Did you guys ever
Gummy
get like
bears.
bullied to just eat your little lunch in the tunnel in the playground?
I mean, Jeff's pretty cool. He's got candy at the playground. Like, that's a way to, like, put a foot in the door. Like, I got some jelly beans. Like, who wants to play?
But then, of course, that's why the basketball scene is so important. Because it's like, I don't know the actual name of the trope, but I always call it the like Rudolph with your nose so bright scene, where like everyone realizes that they can use the freak to their advantage.
When he pretends to be the principal.
No. So they're like, first is basketball, and then they're like,
gotcha.
yeah, holy shit, this is like a full blown adult we have, and we can make him do whatever we want because he wants to be our friend so bad.
How can we exploit Jack?
After the basketball scene, I immediately wrote down, I bet they're going to make him buy Playboys.
And then they literally do.
They do
Hustler.
that. Yeah, he pretends to be the principal for Lewis. That's how he meets Fran Drescher, and she's just so enthralled by how sexy his demeanor is.
Was this peak Nanny?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Nanny is ended by now, right?
Okay, but Nick at Night. See, this is the thing. Nick at Night
Nick
was
at Night is-
running.
No, the nanny was on.
it was on. That's what I thought.
Yeah, we're in the middle of the nanny when this movie.
Oh,
comes
okay.
out.
For some reason, I thought the Nanny ended like 95, 96-ish.
No, we're in the middle of the nanny, so she's like, it's like a big get, which like makes sense because like she's like comic relief, or supposed to be, I guess. She's just so horny.
Hey, is it comic relief? That's definitely what they cast her for. I don't know if it's successful in that way.
It's for the voice.
Real quick,
Yeah.
backing up.
She literally is just Lois Griffin.
Yeah, he's Vincent Lois Griffin.
A couple other thoughts about the basketball scene, because I watched it twice whenever I saw it.
It's a
I was
great
laughing
scene.
so hard.
It might be the scene of the movie.
It's like giving They Came Together, of them just like running around in circles at a certain point, like around Robin Williams. There's also another point skipping ahead later on in the movie, wherever they come out and play Jack, which we're going to talk about that. But whenever they're trying to get him to play, there's just 5 kids with basketballs dribbling in a circle outside of his house. Once again, Francis Ford Coppola does not know how sports work. He's never watched a sport once of his life. But I love when he starts doing good, he makes the little bounce shot into the basket and he just starts doing like dancing and then everyone's dancing together. And meanwhile, you just have the music going on. Shooby-doo.
Yeah, well, because this is the 90s. This is peak like Bobby McFerrin.
Yes, this
era.
is very 90s energy.
Yeah, Bobby McFerrin just like owned a few years of like soundtrack type music, and it's so funny. Anytime you hear it, you're like, really? It's like scattered
bass line, dude. The bass line is great.
It sounds like music from Doug. When Jack starts doing real good and he's doing his little dances, and then the kid with the glasses
joins in.
Yeah, he joins in. Come on, like it's fun stuff.
Glasses Boy owns.
The kids really just kind of weaponize Jack to like gain like pornography.
Yeah, because they're greasy little boys. Like they're not. My mom would not let me hang out with these kids when I was a kid.
Beth would fucking never.
She'd be like, hell no.
You are not hanging out with Jack.
Yeah, like you're gonna sleep in a treehouse. You're not. No, it's not Jack.
My mom would not let me hang out with Louis. If she met Louis one time, she'd be like, "This kid's slicking his hair and he's 10,
real nice."
Yeah,
this guy, he still is a piece of shit. Let's be honest.
He smells like Stokes, and you're dropping me off, and like you meet his mom. You're
crazy.
Like, I think his mom is a hooker.
I'm skipping ahead here. Do we think Louis dies before Jack? Because I think that's on the table.
Well, they definitely all go for sloppy steaks at Trefani's after graduation.
Yeah, they have a sick forest green Chrysler Sebring, top down.
Not a single person wearing a seatbelt. Just not everybody piling in.
Jack immediately dies as soon as the credits roll.
They're just Louis like, don't worry.
A gust of wind blows and he dies.
Louis like, Jack, I got us cocaine for our big celebration night, and then just cuts to black.
He falls off the random like mountain that they're on for some reason.
They're mountain in Calabasas.
You know what I would have liked? I would have liked a scene where Jack buys like cigarettes for everyone in the treehouse, and they're like smoking and coughing.
Yeah, but he's anti-cigs. There's that moment with Fran.
Oh yeah, breaks it in half.
Yeah, cigs. I was thinking beers, like
alcohol. The kid with the glasses gets drunk in the treehouse.
Do you think that they don't have that?
We needed a trashed Jack.
Well, do you think that they don't have that because this is a Disney movie? Like, do you think that if this was like a Fox production, they might have had the like kids accidentally getting drunk scene, or like kids smoking a cigarette and then all like coughing out a lung, like one of those scenes, something like that?
Maybe it's the 90s. Do they care about cigs yet? Like, did we care?
I don't think so. I think it's just because the script is bad.
Yeah, genuinely. I think they just they decided to spend time on really like way worse things. Like, for example, there's a 100% needless scene in the middle of like all this sort of fun we're having with like Robin having friends now. They cut to Jack's mom in a cardboard box, horny as hell, with like heels on, seducing her man.
That is so bizarre. I could not help thinking about like all the families that went to the theater to see this. And it's just
like, why?
Is it like, did Diane Lane have in her contract like, I'm not hitting my minute count for this film yet? We have to add another scene in there, and like also I want to be like, I'm acting too childlike. I need to try and fuck my man.
Technically, it's definitely just to show that like, oh, the parents are benefiting too because this little scamp is in their fucking house all the time. But like, who cares? I don't care.
It's trying to paint a three-dimensional dynamic portrait of what this situation would be like.
No, exactly.
And that's why this movie continuously like falls flat on its face, because it could easily just be like, whoa, wacky Robin Williams in a 10-year-old's body.
Yeah.
But it's always like, no, let's actually like try to tell a more serious story about like what this would actually be like if someone had to deal with this.
It needs to stay way more on Jack and the boys, and the Greasy Boys.
Jack and the Boys.
We need more of Jack and the Greasy Boys together.
Mm-hmm. There's that whole like montage of them hanging out is great though. Like we have the Halloween scene. There's a Dr. Kevorkian joke which was very timely in 1996. Dr. Kevorkian, the guy who was convicted of second-degree murder for like helping with assisted suicide.
So Yeah, the classic.
All the kids love that. I remember like all the 8-year-olds in my theater screening, like they all clapped whenever that joke was made.
So like we're having fun. Yeah, we're having like montage style fun of like him doing all this stuff for the boys. Like he's a homie now. He's totally in. He's like, I brought a friend to the treehouse. It's Bill Cosby.
I screamed again. I could not believe.
I know. Weird move on Jack's part to just like bring the oldest homie up to the treehouse. Yeah, I know. Bill, and the thing is, maybe there's like a deleted little mini scene of like Bill Cosby talking to the parents, and they're like, "Will you please like go see what the fuck they're doing?" You know what I mean? And Bill's like, "All right, fine," because otherwise it's just like, Bill, why are you chilling?
Yeah,
why are you kicking it with the boys?
My note is literally. No, not Bill Cosby. No.
They immediately
I say,
make
oh
him
no,
fart.
oh no, Mr. Woodruff's here.
They immediately make him fart, and because Bill Cosby speaks so slowly, and he's talking about his farts and how nasty they are.
He tells the children that his insides are rotten. That is a completely inappropriate thing to say to children. My insides are rotten.
Bill, is this a cry for help? Bill, are you trying?
Do you think
you trying to tell on yourself?
He started to he started to tear up a little bit on the screen, like this was him confessing, but like not really.
He met these damn boys.
Kids, I've raped so many women. Kids,
and then they do that weird ass Charlie Brown song. Where they're like kicking all their feet in the. What is that?
It's a cool song.
Like, yeah, but what is it? Like because like Bill Cosby starts like going with it, and he's like, "Oh, you guys will like this," and then like they're like, "Oh," and then like one line in, they all are singing every word.
Yeah, they know the exact arrangements for like the entire song.
They're, like, harmonizing.
Each of them have did Bill pull each of them aside and was like, "No, you're gonna go do do do," and you're gonna go do do do, and
this was TikTok dances in '96. Kids just knew
organized treehouse dances.
It's another thing that like it seemed like it belonged in like the outside. Like it's like this is like something kids did in like the 50s.
When you just didn't have anything else.
Yeah, y'all grease back here. You'd be in a treehouse. You'd be in a treehouse with like some old man, and you'd be singing about Charlie Brown.
Farting in a can.
You're eating maggot soup, dude. It was so gross. Why did they do it twice? I get they also had to make Cosby
finished it. They finished the first batch.
So Robin ate that whole thing by himself.
Robin just keeps eating it. It's like the whole thing. They're bullying him, but then he just likes it.
You need a lot to grow as quickly as he does. You got to need a lot of energy.
Capture as much gas as they're trying to fill up. That's what you got to do.
Collin, I know you've had some slop like that, some maggot soup like that.
No, I'm the type of person who was like, if I'm eating like something that's supposed to be dry and then like some juices is touching it, like I'm not no. Like,
even when you were 10, you didn't just mix up gross shit just because. Just to be a gross 10-year-old.
Ooh. It's bringing back memories. I think we made like a stink bomb one time, but we sure as heck did not like put it in our mouth.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know.
Did you make a strange like hairy man?
Did you ever eat it? Did you ever eat any worms, Collin? Were you a big like worm eater? Did you just go around just like do like some whipped cream and worms?
It's just
mash.
It's weird. It's weird because they stay on it for so long. Just like the farting, there's like a really long take of Robin Williams' face as he's farting.
I felt like he was gonna let out a turd.
No, I thought he was gonna shit himself.
He's shitting, man.
In real life, he is shitting himself. Like when that much is coming out and how much he's straining.
He's really forcing.
He's also he's got a 40-year-old asshole. Right. Let me tell you, as a man with a 28-year-old asshole, like sometimes it's hard. You think it's a fart and it's not.
He has hemorrhoids.
Wait, no. Would the scene have been better when they're passing the can around the open? And there's just a fucking turd in it, and they're like,
well, that one little boy like actually passes out, like he fully loses consciousness.
Yeah, it was like a death scene.
Francis like really, he directed the shit out of that kid. He was like, all right, boy,
you're gonna slam
over.
I need your head. I need to hear it bang on the wood behind you. I want you to get a fucking stage 2 concussion.
This movie
movie
should have been set in like the 50s. It would have made so much more sense because like the past like that feels like more of a fairy tale, and this like is a fairy tale because like no one watching this is like this this happens every day. Like,
Also,
you know what I mean? It needs to be set back. There's no technology aid that really matters to the movie at all. And also everything that they do and say, these kids, is just 50s. Like the
There's
writers,
nothing 90s about it.
the writers in Coppola did not know how to make it not.
They just,
like,
it's
from
the
their
same
childhood.
thing. Well, just think about it. It's the same thing as watching a modern family movie today where people are like, this director doesn't understand Gen Z kids. It's the same exact thing, except it was back in the 90s that they just didn't understand what kids were. Adding to that point of this would have been better in the 50s, I had like a couple of notes on just like generally how we can make this movie better and less horny. Why aren't the kids like reading? Like, I think it would have been a better scene is if they're like all reading like a like car magazine or something like that. And then like Louis shows up and they're like, hey guys, guess what Jack brought because he looks like an adult. And then they bring a porno mag and he's like, oh my God, whoa, this is the first time I've seen boobs.
Whoa.
Instead they're like, yeah, I started like beating my meat when I was 7, and you're like, Jesus, oh my God, kids, go to therapy. Like, fucking Christ, what is this town?
They're so cranked up.
Like,
Guys, we're overlooking a pivotal line in the treehouse. It's just looking at Jack and just being like, Jack, you ever get a boner?
Colin, I think it's the first time I ever met you, I asked you that question.
in the treehouse.
That's like a seminal part of growing up is just being with your buddy and being like, does your cock get fucking hard? Like, this movie is tapping into something.
Well, that's why I want more of the boys in the treehouse, even though they're a little weird. Like, it at least like is some sort of human experience.
Well, speaking of the horniness, going back to J-Lo, first of all, she really wants Jack to win the basketball game. There's a lot of moments where she's rooting for him. And then immediately after that, she goes up to him in class and she says, looks like we're going to have to change your name from Jack to Shaq. She is getting dangerously close.
She's approaching the Fran Drescher
Well, that's
zone.
the thing. She doesn't have enough range as an actress to not just be like hot. You know, like she's
not at this point.
No,
she gets it,
she's
but
like,
yeah,
like she doesn't have that gear of just being like totally innocuous, like just a good teacher who cares. Like, why would you cast J-Lo in 1996 to play that part?
Right.
I'm sorry.
And then immediately after that, the nanny Fran is just straight up hitting on him, like just hardcore.
Yeah,
horny.
well, I think the reason why you put J-Lo in this movie is just because at that point you can have 4 names above the title. You can have Robin Williams as Jack, and then you can also
Diane
have
Lane,
Diane
Bill
Lane
Cosby, Fran Drescher,
and J-Lo. So
J-Lo.
5. That's 5 names right there. 5 of the biggest names of the mid-90s.
and Coppola.
Yeah.
So so it's like it's a huge sell.
But it just doesn't
How could
really
it
make
go wrong?
sense having them in that role.
So the treehouse falls because of one little butterfly.
Oh my God, it's the same butterfly that he watched hatch.
And then like killed.
And then that little
Cinema.
fucker dies.
he kills that bitch later on.
They really like fall out of it too. Like Bill Cosby's toppling on top of these children. Like, how did the kid with glasses not break his arm during that scene?
Yeah. He's like, oh no, I can't control my arms.
Robin Williams fell on me and Bill Cosby broke my leg.
It's an extended sequence. There's a lot of shots of this treehouse like crumbling to the ground.
Dude, like it reminded me of like a decom shot of like the butterfly landing on the little piece of wood, and then it like and he's like, guys,
No.
stop, no.
Yeah, it's not even it's like it's a cartoon gag. Like it's like a silly little like Fairly Odd Parents joke.
Right.
It's so weird.
Mad when the kid interrupts and says like look out or something. He's like, no, that's not right.
They've heavily set up the weight limit on the treehouse. There's a lot of creaking.
The creaking is insane. It's like if I get like kids are fearless and everything. If I got up into a space and I heard that, I'd be like, nah, guys, we're just gonna like sleep on the ground tonight.
Well, this would be the Jack ride at Disney World. You would be in the treehouse, and you and all your boys would be farting into a jar.
It's like 4D. You're like smelling a fart.
It's like a combination of Bug's Life and Tower of Terror.
Yes. And then eventually you all fall. Bill Cosby's there for some reason.
He's like, oh no! Watch out,
And then you
Jack,
get
your
back
bones are weak.
You get back in line and you do it all over again.
So the next key scene could also be in the right. Like the next key sequence is him showing up at the bar. Like he has heart attack.
No,
Well,
no,
yes,
because
exactly.
before that we have to get dramatic out of goddamn nowhere. Like there's that one cutaway to Diane Lane being sad and then horny. So like you're like, is this a dramatic scene? I can't really tell here. And then we have Girl is saying like, when I get older, I want to be 28 and get married, because if I get married before 28, then I'm going to get divorced. But I can fool the analytics if I just don't get married till 28. Jack's like, when I'm 28, I just want to be alive. Starts like doing that. He's like 28 times 4 equals 100. And no.
So he asks out J-Lo to the dance and kisses her. She, of course, says no. Tragic.
Yeah, she owns him.
Then he has a heart attack.
He falls down the stairs. He falls down the stairs very slapstick style. It's really funny.
But before the heart attack, it is very sad. That's a very sad
Yeah, of course, because he's like, I have to go with the grown up because you look like me.
Yeah.
He's like, you look just like me. And she's kind of like, okay, listen, I don't
I don't know if I look just like you. I'm kind of a smoke show. Colin, what were you saying?
You could say she broke his heart.
Because it's not it's not a heart attack.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. I mean, for all intents and purposes, she broke his heart.
But yeah, so then he go to hospital. They're like, why the fuck are you letting this freak go to school?
Yeah. Too much stress.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, but mommy, I must go to school. The boys, they love
This
me.
is where the movie gets horribly depressing. It's no more farts and cans and like
Yeah, and it only was farts and cans for like a half hour.
Right. No, we got to go to the Memories nightclub.
He goes, which also could have been really fun, by the way.
Yeah.
Instead, it's kind of fun because Michael McKean is in there and he's funny.
It's fun. It's funny, but for not the reasons that they intended. Like one of the best pieces of like unintentional comedy from this movie is like they walk in. Michael McKean sees Fran Drescher walking. He's just like, "Ugh, could crack a walnut on that ass," and then it cuts her ass, and she just has no ass at all. Like it's just flat as hell, and you're like, "God damn, the '90s were a dark time, huh?" Just like people just didn't.
My guy. Chuck McGill, a past and present Better Call Saul legend.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably had a couple drinks at this point. He doesn't know what he's looking at.
I really like the way that the dialogue handles him being drunk, and so he doesn't really notice the way that Jack is interjecting with little kid shit when he's talking.
Yeah.
I thought
when he's talking about like he can't get it up.
Yeah,
and Jack has no idea.
He's Jack's like, I can't. I've never done that.
He's like, oh
like,
yeah, like your leg falls, and he just keeps talking because when you're drunk, you just be talking.
I've definitely done that at a bar to strangers before, and like I'm so sorry.
Yeah. You're talking
like, if
to
you're
a
listening
10-year-old
to
child who has no idea.
For all intents, I might as well have been
any
like
of those kids could be.
Just like if I'm just like walking around like Sports Town and I've just like tied one too many over, I'm just like talking to a random person that has no interest in keeping a conversation going with me. I'm sorry.
Jack 1996.
I really like that Jack is eating a ton of cherries at the bar.
Yeah, there's like it's an interesting scene. And then he
gets into a bar fight.
Fran
and goes
is
to
too
jail.
horny. Fran, like he cannot stop. Like just every red flag that you could possibly imagine in a human being is popping up in conversation. He's doing like this move while like dancing very close to a person.
Dude.
It's a 10-year-old dance.
And
alpha mindset.
And Fran is just so all in. She's just like, I don't care. I want to fuck this man child.
This principal.
To the point
who's like she knows is like really good friends with my child. Like she knows that he's come over to their house and into their treehouse before. I would be very alarmed if I was.
No, I think she's like an absentee mother. I don't think she has any idea what the fuck goes on in that treehouse.
She doesn't even know there is a treehouse.
She doesn't know she has a kid.
She's a drug addict. She's probably like on cocaine the whole time.
It makes sense because Robin gets in fight with the fucking cokehead at the bar.
Which is awesome, by the way. Like the epic diss battle that they have. That
cussed.
Yeah, it's so funny. And everyone's like, oh,
you got Zachley disease.
if I saw that happen, I would side with Robin 100%.
I feel like,
he's owning his bitch ass.
So he goes to jail. I was really hoping that like we would spend a lot more time with Jack in jail. Like that's a whole movie.
He spends like 3 years.
He goes for like attempted murder.
Yeah, he gets out quick because of course Fran is like, I gotta get that dick.
Fran's like, I need to fuck Mr. Powell. Also, she never calls him by a first name. All night long, she's just like, Mr. Powell, Mr. Powell.
She wants the pipe so bad.
She is. I think it's better for her that way if she doesn't actually know the first name.
You just take me to my mommy's, and then she gives him like a very tender little kiss,
smooch.
Where it was like the like heat check, like the heat tester kiss that you give when you're like, okay, I'm just gonna give you a little smooch, and if you lean in enough, then I'm gonna go after your ass.
Yeah,
and
just
then
testing the waters.
Yeah, but then he's like, he reacts how a small child would, and she's like, okay, well, good night. Peace out.
There could have been a good callback when she's at the bar with him. She could have said to him, Jack, do you ever get a boner?
That would have been perfect.
Jack, do you ever get a boner?
You know how you talk to like adults, like full-grown adults, like, hey buddy, you ever get a boner?
Michael McKean.
Yeah.
You ever get a boner, Jack?
That would tip off the fact that she knows that he's like a 10-year-old, which would
And then she keeps going.
Even more.
And it becomes like a really dark, like true crime type situation.
So then Jack gets depressed and grows a full beard.
So, question. I actually had this as a note here because we know Jack grows at like 4 times the human rate.
Right.
I think that Robin Williams' facial hair actually does grow at 4 times the normal human rate.
That was a fake beard.
It's a bad fake beard. It's a really bad fake beard. Which Robin has grown a beard before. I don't know why they didn't.
I know, just shoot out of order. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, I don't.
Come on,
know.
Francis.
But like,
that was one good thing about Awakenings. That was a real beard.
That's like a couple weeks? Like, how long do we really
say? It's like 2.5 weeks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not that long.
No. It's but he's been
in kid time.
But
it's
he's
like
just
forever,
like they're like he literally hasn't come out of his room.
Right. But also there's a scene at the beginning of the movie where the dad is like teaching him to shave for the first time, which is like he looks like a 40-year-old man.
He hadn't shaved before.
Shaved. And then he shaves one time to go to school and now he has a full beard.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
They say he started shaving when he was 4.
But then why?
He's like, his dad is walking him through how to shave.
Yeah, he tells it to the kid with glasses. He's like, I had to start when I was 4.
Get it together, Francis.
Maybe he's
shit.
Jack is just like bad at being a man.
Maybe get a script consultant. Coppola.
I will say, like, this is genuinely like one of the best scenes in the movie. Is that can Jack come out to play?
Yeah,
come on, can Jack come out to play?
They all want to play with Jack.
Everybody just wants to play with Jack. This is like the scene that I remember the most from seeing this movie however many times as a kid. Is like I just remembered like thinking like, man, I hope that if I just went missing, like every kid from my school would show up to my house and ask if I could come out to play.
And then you just put on a gas mask.
Instead, I was just like out there on the playground, like, rah, rah,
yeah,
I'm a brontosaurus.
You finally come out of your house with a full beard. They're like, ew. And then
basically what happens.
So then he basically just like decides he's gonna go back to school. Yeah, like he just like shaves and does it all. He's like,
yeah,
Mom, can I go back? She's like, okay.
Oh, okay.
Well, no, put it like that.
She's because at first he keeps asking. She's like, no, and he's like, well, I'm going to.
Yeah.
She's like, shit. All right then. Like,
yeah,
no pushback.
He just like shows up to class, and J-Lo's like, oh, good.
All right. So go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say, Drew. It's geniusly matched to Louis' speech.
Perfect.
Yeah,
I was just
because you know he has to be back in class for his speech.
Yeah, and it's perfect. I think that this is a really well kind of staged scene because there's like a sense of momentum to him giving the speech without Jack there, but the speech is about Jack.
Yeah.
And then he arrives as like the big moment is happening.
Yeah. And you're
no kid has ever given a speech like this in any class. This is the best written speech.
I will say
10-year-old.
At least it makes sense because they are so young at 10. Because in like high school, if Jack just missed like 3 weeks of school, then that would like be more important for him. But in like 5th grade, what are you really learning?
It doesn't matter.
It's probably fine for him to just miss that class. They're like, you have to write one speech and you have 6 months to write it.
Yeah.
They're like, it's due at the end of the semester.
Their only school assignment is
it can be about your buddy.
You can just say that you want to be. You can say that you want to be married at 28 when you grow up. You can say that you want to be like your weird man-child friend. It's fine. If you say you get a doctor, you want to be a doctor, you get an F.
It's yeah, it's good. Like it's good character growth for Louis, who like really hasn't had much of an arc. I would say. I'd say like
he goes from being like a little bit of a shithead to not that much of a shithead.
It's just he's a shithead, and then he likes Jack, and then he loves Jack.
Well, he defends Jack in front of the other boys. He's like, "Hey, cool it with the freak shit."
Hey, he did me a favor.
Right. He got us the Penthouse mags, the nudie mags. Yeah, and then he's like, "Yeah, I want to be like the big guy, the giant." That's cute.
I said that about Drew before.
I want to be like the big guy.
Yeah,
it was before I was even tall.
Right. Then the ending, the valedictorian speech. What did you guys think of this? Of old man Jack graduates from high school and everyone cries.
First thought, the best thing that they did maybe in the whole movie is the casting of the older kids.
Perfect.
Is so
Everyone's perfect.
good.
Yeah.
They look so perfect.
Yeah.
I was like blown away. I was like, wow, that's like, I didn't have to wonder who they were. I was like, oh, that's Louis. That's the weird glasses boy. That's spiky hair kid.
Yep.
Good
Everyone's
job
there.
Good job.
I
by
love
them.
how people don't change. They're like, when you're 10 and you spike your hair, it's like,
That's
I guess
your
this is
look.
my personality trait, huh? This is just my look for the rest of my life is I'm gonna have spiky hair.
Jack's eyebrows are out of control as an old man.
Dude, let's talk about his kicks though. Those are looking pretty sick. So this is
a little Ronald McDonald.
This is what 2003. Wait, is that math track? Yeah, 2004,
Yes.
5-ish or so.
3. I think 3.
They do a smart thing where like the parents are all just wearing like standard adult clothing and the kids are all wearing gowns.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're trying to like
They're not calling their shot.
Yeah, they aren't trying to predict like what the fashion of the future is. The biggest thing is seeing Robin Williams shoes, which is like kind of those like shiny, like metallic almost looking like Converse.
Yeah, they're weirdly swagged up. Robin Williams looking like an old man. He looks exactly like George Washington. J-Lo has like a man and a baby now, and we're like,
Jack's parents have another kid.
Yeah, they had a little girl who's like falling asleep.
Who's
in all these takes? She's like dozing off.
She is zonked out.
So
she looks so funny.
Do
man.
we think that originally she had lines and then they got the kid and Francis is like, I can't do anything with this child. Just act like you're asleep. Like
she's literally just because she's sitting up, but she's literally just like. Like for a minute, I thought that they like gave some airtime to like a little girl with progeria because I was like, "What's wrong with this kid?"
Do we think maybe she is? Maybe she's only like 2.
I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say she got it. I don't like them insinuating that she's a normal kid for them to raise.
They had a second kid with progeria.
Yeah,
the dad is like
genetic.
No!
I think the dad kills himself.
The dad's like, come on, I just want to play catch.
This is Jack 2. It's like the Donnie Darko sequel that was about his sister. This is the Jack.
Dude, the S Darko.
Yeah,
S Jack.
Yeah, so it's just sort of like they were just clearly like, Jack's on the way out. We can just pop another one out while we're still young.
I'm happy for them.
Yeah, they have a kid. All the boys are like epic. They have the Sebring.
What did you think of this whole final sequence, Colin?
I hate this ending. I think it's an awful, horrible ending. I mean, I don't think they knew what else to do. And like as a kid, when I saw it, just seeing like, oh, he's really old now and like he's about to die. It's just like depressing, and it's not heartwarming.
Mhm.
It's kind of the Robin Williams formula because they do the same thing in Bicentennial Man, and I don't like that movie either. So it's just kind of a bad trope of like, oh, it's heartwarming, but
Kind of a final speech.
You know what it is? It's the same thing that they do, and the speech reminds me. It's a bad speech. It reminds me a lot of I almost said A Beautiful Lie. The fucking
A Beautiful Mind.
A Beautiful. It's the same exact speech.
And therefore, I'm
it's
thinking
for
of ending things.
You, all of you.
I couldn't stop
And
thinking
it's-
of I'm thinking of ending things.
It's literally is like that same type. It was just kind of a thing for like this 10-year stretch where movies didn't know how to end. So they're like, we're
Let's
gonna
give him
end
a
with
big speech.
we're gonna end with him giving a speech that's about nothing. He's not saying
Not being
anything.
a shooting star, Hunter.
It's literally not saying
Be
anything.
spectacular.
He's like, it's thanks to you, all of you, audience. It's thanks to you.
Tears. Everybody cries.
It's like
Clap.
I did that.
Yeah, it sucks. It also, much like most of the drama in this, it eats up too much time. It's like we could have hard cut like straight from him giving his speech as a boy to the valedictorian, be like, wow, he's old now. I get it. Like he's
And
old.
like,
He's
oh,
at the
he
end of his
lived up-
valedictorian speech.
He lived
Wow.
to be a senior.
Yeah, standing
graduate.
O,
Cool.
quick crowd shots of everyone we care about, and then like go away.
Or over credits.
Yeah.
No speech, just graduation over credits.
Silly graduation photo shoot.
Yeah, with old man Jack.
They should have had Jack on like a deathbed, and like Louis and the gang is there, and Jack like passes away.
him and Bill Cosby are dying together because Bill Cosby's just old.
Wait,
Man.
why is Bill Cosby at the graduation?
Why not? He loves him.
But he's like a part of like is he a part of the school?
No, he's like a private mentor.
Yeah, he's
that the
like
family
Jack's
hires.
friend. He's his homie.
What?
He loves him.
So because Jack is valedictorian, Cosby just gets to like be
Well,
in
he's
the
a- Plus
Well, here's the
one.
thing: is that like he's
Oh, you mean how he's like sitting in behind
Yeah.
him?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Jack should have fart in the can on stage and then pass it around the crowd.
that should have been the speech. Just
Yeah.
a big old fart. I would have loved that. That would have been a perfect ending.
it is
Cut to
like
credits, Bryan Adams. Let's get out of here.
Got my first real six string.
the Bill Cosby character is such a weird relationship because I didn't even like really think about it like of why is Bill Cosby there in the treehouse to begin with. Like he was originally hired by the parents to be
That's
like
what
a
I'm saying.
private
There should have
mentor.
been a little scene of like the parents
Why-
being like, hey,
yeah,
will
like
you
did
go?
they pay him to go like
Yeah.
to go there, or is he like legitimately friends with a child?
No, yeah, well, because obviously, like Jack called him was like, "Hey, like I want you to meet my friends," and he's like, "Oh, I'll support you, you know, disabled boy." Like it's not that. It's weird that he stays and like chills for a long time.
He's just like, yeah, I'll eat your fucking maggots. Like, yeah, let's do it.
You guys know the
Smell your
weird
farts.
Charlie Brown song? It's also very bizarre the way that Bill Cosby manipulates him into not being depressed anymore when he's depressed.
Yeah.
When he's like trying to teach me, he's like, "Nah, I quit. You're being a bummer, and I'm leaving because I don't like you anymore."
Do you know I've done that in past relationships before. I've actually just like I've gotten in fights with things, and I'm just like, yeah, you know what? I'm just leaving now.
Yeah, you're being so depressed. And Jack's like, "I'm dying. I'm gonna die. Like, I'm sad." He's like, "Whatever, bitch. Like, you're a shooting star. Like, you're supposed to die."
All right, let's get to the categories. So the first one is what is the best Robinism in this movie? Do you have one, Colin? Off the
I
top?
have two.
Oh, good.
I have two, and they're the correct answers. I'm dead fucking serious.
You are a
about this.
Jack expert, so
Yeah. I've been like I've watched Jack 3 times since like I got like signed on to do this.
incredible,
I'm not
incredible.
fucking around with Jack, but the basketball scene when Jack does his victory dance and he does that squirm with like his legs. That's 100% Robin Williams. It was Francis Ford Coppola was not standing there being like, "Oh, how about you do
Just
this?"
wiggle your legs like this.
So I think he definitely improvised that. And then when Robin Williams' like smiling face appears in the door at the end for the speech, it like zips up and he's got that big old smile. Like that's just a big Robin.
When he's
Williams.
old man Jack.
No. Whenever during the speech, like that,
when he appears
about like
at
I
the
want to be
door.
like Jack when I grow up, and they just he
Yeah, and
pops
everyone's
right into frame.
Jack's here. Jack's here.
Yeah. I love that. Just him smiling, popping up the window, wide eyed, just like
Great
if,
picks.
if he was at my door, I'd let him in. Just be like, okay.
It's Jack.
I I was gonna mention the basketball scene, of course. That especially just everything, the dancing along with the insane music is just wild. Really, anything from that that like schoolyard kind of scene could fit in there. Also, we talked about it before, but him on the phone with his dad and like just going in circles and circles and circles.
This thing when he does this with his shirt,
Yeah.
puts up his shirt over his head like this.
Everybody
This
does
is
that.
the Robinism right here. This is the moment.
Yeah.
And he's just going around with his shirt over
For
his head.
the listeners, Ernie just pulled the shirt like over the back of his head, and so just like you don't see the top of his head, you just see just face.
I'm a
and
10-year-old
shirt.
boy.
Yeah, cornholio.
Another good one is when
Corn Julio. There you go.
The shot of him buying all that shit at the convenience store with the nuns behind him, and then he's like, picture of the Pope. That was funny.
Playboy. I'll get some Raisinets, some gum, and you have a Playboy?
Would that scene have been better if the kids were like, no, Jack, not the penthouse, that one. It's like really hardcore, like shit. Like really nasty. Jack, get that one.
Yeah, it's like Dominatrix magazine.
They're
Or
like, now we're going to the
something.
video store, Jack.
It's like fecal and like just Jack's like, all right, I'll get this one.
They like pool all their money and then go to like Skid Row to just like get a hooker.
Well, that's the thing. So they're starting young at like 10. It's only going to get worse from there, right? They're going to be desensitized at a certain
They
point.
make him like buy heroin.
How does Jack? Well, hold on. If Jack would not survive to graduation if that were the case.
It just ends. What if it like there was a post-credit scene where Louis just like, oh man, I'm freaking out, guys. I'm freaking out. We just killed Jack. And it just like leads over with Jack with like 2 heroin needles in his arms, passed out on a couch, foaming at the mouth.
Jack taking like one sip of beer on graduation day and passing away.
I'm telling you, when they drive away in that Sebring, it is over for Jack.
They're about to
game
do
over.
some hairpin turns with the top down.
Jack, he just gave his last words at this graduation. Like, it's not, even if it's not like an accident or anything, like just the joy of being on this incredible ride on this Sebring with his friends is gonna make his little heart stop.
That's true, because it was just like, it was just like anxiety and like a conversation, a tense conversation. Like having a lot of fun could. I thought that was
over.
I thought that was going to happen in the treehouse. Like I thought that he was going to like have too much fun, like die or something.
What's the best moment in the movie? And Robin Williams is all over this movie. There's only like maybe a 2 or 3 scenes that he's not in. So it could easily just be another Robinism, right? Just the best moment in the movie. I think it's the whole basketball scene. To me, I think that's kind of like everything kind of clicks really well there. The music, that bass line, all the kids, all the cutaways to all the kids like spectating the game are all perfect.
I like the diss battle.
Okay.
That is right before the, or are you talking about
right before him getting his shit rocked?
Oh yeah, in the
by
bar,
a
that
man
whole
on
bar
cocaine.
scene.
No, yeah, just I like the diss, but yeah, the Zachley disease.
Okay.
I'm gonna start saying that to people.
I could have. I wanted more from that club.
of course.
Oh, we're gonna get to an idea that I have to like really to add to that scene.
I
have
wanted
a
a
note.
strip club. Like it should have been a strip
I wanted
club.
her to give him poppers.
This movie is so much better if it's rated R. And it's
That,
not-
no, that is the
and it's
thing.
not meant to be like a Disney whatever thing. It's just an R movie about this like kid. Like this could have been a great, like awesome movie.
It's called
Even if
Bad
it's-
Jack.
Even if it's like PG-13 and like, what if they like
It is
took-
PG-13.
it's PG-13? Oh, I thought it was
Yeah,
PG
that's why
just
it's
based
so
on the
weird.
90s.
That's
and-
weird because also, back then I feel like this could have been PG almost.
Is there an F
There's
word?
no, but there is like some there's some bitch in there. There's a couple of shits.
There's also just tons of porn and
yeah, there's a
horniness.
lot of horniness.
Yeah,
There-
that's an automatic PG-13. The
Yeah.
Penthouse mag for
Sex,
sure.
Yeah, sex stuff is not approved.
Colin, best moment in the movie?
I mean, like all this stuff with the boys is great, but I gotta. I'm sorry, I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know if I need to check myself in, but it's you ever get a boner, Jack? That's never going to happen in a movie ever again. You're never going to have a kid say that to
Boner Jack.
Well, that whole treehouse scene is really, really good.
Who says that? That's one of like the throwaway kids who has that line, right? Because he says it like very earnestly. Like they're like all kind of like playing around. It's just like it kind of gets quiet for a second. It's like, you ever get boner, Jack?
Yeah.
Like it's just
Well, it's like this is a moment of brotherhood. Like they've asked this question to every new member.
Yeah,
of
like
the
they talk
treehouse.
about it all the time.
Yeah. It's a way to welcome Jack into the treehouse.
Yeah, they're like, Jack, do you even like this shit you're getting for us? Like, do you even get it?
he's like, nah, I grew out of this shit.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, Jack's like, yeah, I have ED like really bad.
Yeah, you could easily remake this into like a A24 like sci-fi or like elevated horror type
Yeah,
deal.
it could be that. It could be just a pure like full Oscar bait tragedy movie. It could be like a Dirty Jack, like crazy comedy that turns dark and sad.
You know what it could be is like not plot wise at all, but they could have made this like have you guys ever seen Little Nicky? The Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah.
It could have been like that tone if it would have gone a little bit darker of like oh, he's like so mischievous and everything else like that, but he's like an adult.
Aren't there a bunch of Adam Sandler characters that are basically Jack?
I mean, it's kind of there's like a
Billy
little bit of Billy Madison in here.
Mr. Deeds, like he kind of
He's a man-child.
Yeah, he kind of is like
But
a 10-year-old a lot of times.
It's the fucking Tropic Thunder thing of like you never go full Jack. Like Adam Sandler, there's always something. He's either going like
He's just
too
stupid.
zany to the point. Yeah, he's like playing it too stupid.
Yeah, like same with Dumb and Dumber. They're just like two really dumb
Robin
guys.
Williams is playing this too earnestly. Like he's really is. He's playing a 10-year-old.
Billy Madison is not about the drama of being stuck in an older man's body.
No, it's not.
just
Yeah,
like
it's
dumb
not.
and rich.
It's literally just about being like immature. Like he's not stuck in any type of body. He's just an immature idiot. Like this movie shouldn't exist. But if it is to exist, I think the best route would be for them to lean way more into it being like a lighthearted sort of fun time at the movies that has like heavy overtones of sadness, like bookending it, like beginning and end. You're like, oh man. But then most of the movie, you're just seeing Robin Williams have fun with kids. You're getting treehouse type shit because ostensibly that's what I was like finding myself wanting in this movie where you're like, okay, well that type of scene was hella better than the last one. You know what I mean? Every time like a treehouse type scene happened, I was like, all right, well that's better than whatever the fuck else is going on here. So like we needed more of that.
I don't know. I wanted the Fran Drescher cut. I want the cut where she just goes all the way. She's just like regretting it to me. Like,
yeah,
it
Jack
could've
the
gone
morning
full-
after.
I can't remember. It's been a long time since I've seen Big. How far does it go in Big?
I think they bang in Big.
Do they? I can't. I honestly
but it's
can't
like
remember.
it's like epic sauce. Like he's like, hell yeah, I'm a little boy and
So-
I just fucked.
Is this better than that? I mean, at least
Yes.
at least she doesn't have sex with a child.
No, of course. Like Big is insane for that.
I could be wrong. It's been a long time since I've seen Big.
I'm pretty sure like at the very least like some action happens with him and he's like, hell yeah, she doesn't know I'm a child. Like cool.
Well,
but also that means that the woman is not a villain in that scenario because she doesn't know, you know?
Hold on a second, guys. I think the thing that everyone's forgetting here is that Robin Williams went to beach and got old. That's really the
Do we
key
think
to
that
this
that
whole
was the
thing.
problem? Do you think that like the problem is that like he has a little bit of the sand from the beach that makes you old in his pocket?
Well,
and
his
that's why he's
parents-
always getting older is because he brought the beach from old back with him.
His parents conceived him on the beach.
That's what happened. Is that what happens to the baby? And
Yeah, the sand got in his urethra.
Yeah, they think it's a stillborn when she gives birth and old, but it's actually Jack.
I have a question. What is Fran Drescher's life like as soon as she learns that Jack is old? Or Jack is young?
I don't think that it even really affects her
They
much.
never
at all.
address-
No, well, because she's like sobbing in the graduation scene, and I just kept thinking of like, oh man, she's probably crying because of like the decade of therapy she's had to go to, where she has to be like, yeah, so I did try to have sex with a 10-year-old, and like I really wanted to, and I'm
Right.
still attracted to this old man.
It's also, I don't know. It's just, it's funny because he also, like, even if he's not 10, he still is like Robin Williams.
Yeah, he's still not
Like
hot.
half the guys at that club were like marginally better looking.
Michael McKean is better looking, even with the toupee and all. Like, he's still looking better than fucking Robin Williams.
What's the next category?
What would you do, fellas?
So I
What you doing?
think the real WYD here is you're a member of a friend group, like, and there's a new kid in your class.
Yeah, you're a 10-year-old kid in Miss Jennifer Lopez class.
And there's a new kid, and he is
Robin Williams.
By the way, this brings up the fact that these kids were not well vetted at all. They were not prepped properly for this freak to enter the classroom. There should have been like a whole
weren't they?
There should have been like a whole day of like a guidance counselor being like, okay, don't say anything.
Yeah, they have like an assembly before Jack shows up to school to like don't bully Jack.
But anyway, so if I'm 10, when I was 10, I was a very like sweet, tender boy. I would have tried to talk to this kid.
Yeah.
And I don't think
you're a bit of an empath, so
the thing is,
sense.
it wouldn't have gone well, and I would have given up like pretty quickly. I would have tried to, and then he would like bark at me, and I'd be like, you know what, I don't want to jeopardize like the few friends that I do have, so I'm just gonna back off.
You're just stuck with
like
the large.
Yeah, because I didn't have the social clout to like be like, no guys, he's cool.
Well, it's because you did slick back your hair, but you didn't have that fun swoop. If you just had like those 3 locks of hair that did swoop down,
I wanted to be
along
that
with
kid
the
so
slick back
bad.
hair.
That kid's so cool.
I'm gonna be real with you guys. I would just mind my own business. I wouldn't bully him, but I wouldn't try to reach out.
Well, you also
Yeah.
came from Columbia like last year,
right?
You're already like,
Yeah,
you're
if
already
you
like
were
this.
10.
Is
Well,
crazy.
no, I would have been there a couple years. I would be on like year 2 or 3.
Yeah, but you're already
You
like,
show up and
this
you're
is-
like, is this what fucking America is?
yeah, class, we're having one of those kids
no, I'd
come
be
in.
like, I'm good now. Like no one's looking at me weird anymore.
Yeah, just because like you, just because you have a little bit of an accent. You're like this is Robin Williams.
I've automatically like moved back a layer in terms of the attention of all the other kids looking at you
You're
weird.
like hell yes.
Someone else has the spotlight now. Like I'm all set over here.
Yeah.
I don't know. What about you, Colin? Like you're in the 10th grade and Robin Williams walks in.
5th grade.
Or you're 10 years old. That's
I'm
right.
10 years old. Okay, so here's a flaw with Jack's parents. He's wearing these like dumpy like hobo outfits, but like if he's in my class and I don't know, let's say he's wearing like a Yu-Gi-Oh shirt, I'm gonna be like, oh,
Great point.
Adult large size Yu-Gi-Oh
Well,
shirt.
there's a kid.
Yeah.
There's a kid wearing a Black Flag shirt.
That's true. Yeah.
So
yeah.
But he's also like a dork. Like, you know, he's like a homeschool like science nerd.
right,
So like Jack is like he'd be a loser anyway almost.
right.
Yeah, so I mean, like if I know he's into something that I'm also into, I'm gonna be like, oh, all right, buddy, all right, pal, we can be friends. But no, if he's just wearing like a shirt that like my dad wears,
His mom
the
should have
problem
like
is-
there should have been a scene where his mom takes him to the mall for like a makeover scene where they go to like Hot Topic.
Yeah. No.
The problem is
Jack
that,
is
like,
wearing an Eraserhead shirt.
Diane Lane definitely is the type of mom who's just like, we can't watch Pokemon because there's like animal abuse in it.
Gotcha.
Like she's that type of mom. She's just like, if like there's no violent video games allowed in the household.
Yeah, they're
she's that
they're
type of
watching
mom.
only like Zoom. Like he's writing letters to Zoom every week.
Yeah. Like
Hunter, I
it's
have a question for you.
what?
Is Jack into Coheed if he like survives?
No,
If he, like, lives
no, he's
into the
absolutely
2000s?
no.
Do you think that Jack was like we actually saw the real life Jack at the first Coheed show we went to, and we saw the guy, the like old man, get lifted up and crowd
Oh, in
surf.
the wheelchair.
And the old man, the wheelchair. First Coheed show we ever went to, there was an old guy in a wheelchair who actually crowd surfed.
What year
to
was
Coheed
this?
show? 2013, 2014.
Get
Yeah,
me
2013.
here. So
So
Jack
he could have been
would've-
200 years old at a
Jack-
Coheed
He
concert.
would be approximately 120.
It tracks. It could work.
Yeah.
Jack almost ages like exactly like a dog,
Right.
if you think about it.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's not as bad as dog.
Not quite, but it's
a 4 multiplier instead
He
of
could
7.
just have two dogs
I'd
his
say
whole life.
because he's graduating high school at the end, right? Like,
Yeah.
he's like an old dog. He's like 17, about to die, 18.
Yeah, what? So he's
Okay, I guess that
72
tracks,
at
yeah.
that point. 18 times 4. Yeah, 72.
So Jack is just a dog.
Yeah, I mean, he hopes to live till his 20s.
Dog. It's just an old dog, guys.
All right. Let's tweak the WYD a little bit. You're a young couple. You're trying. And
Abortion.
Yeah, no, I'm moving to a state where it's legal. Also, okay, bad job by this guy now. Like, this is, I'm getting a better fucking guy.
Bad at explaining things. Bad at explaining things to
Wait,
them.
you
bad
want the guy
explaining
know
things-
that's
also-
in Jennifer Lopez's class as a little boy that grows up to be a guy.
Man, we haven't spent enough time on that kid who just says, when I grow up, I want to be a gynecologist. It's all because of you, Miss Marquez.
Miss Marquez, I want to be your pussy
I want
doctor.
to look inside of your vagina. I'm 10.
Dead Ringers is my favorite movie.
Insane. I was getting Dead Ringers vibes from watching
It's just,
Jack.
there's so many moments in this movie that's like, why did you not cut this out?
Why are these boys so nasty?
You needed to cut this out in
Again,
this movie.
everyone who made this movie should go straight to jail. Just straight to jail.
So-
All of them involved.
So I'm a young couple. Is it post birth? We find out, like, obviously, like labor happens really early.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. First trimester, you're suddenly in the hospital giving birth to a big old baby.
I hope I get to be the stay-at-home parent because, like, Jack, ends up like happens to be like really smart for his age. Like, like he's a smart kid. He's fun. And you need to raise a kid with like those health problems. I'd imagine you'd have to be rich as hell.
they're fucking.
I don't want to
work. Yeah, I don't want to work the hours that Dad's working.
Well, okay, so Diane Lane is unemployed. And
she's a stay-at-home mom. That's actually the hardest job in the world.
And Dad is a nudie mag photographer.
I don't know. I think he just looks like hot.
Yeah, I almost took it.
Hot vegetable.
I kind of settled on he was like a photographer for like Marlboro Reds or something like that, just based on, I don't know, the vibes.
He's an ad man.
Who's doing?
Okay, who takes the pictures with my spy books.
Okay,
there you go. Yeah,
yeah. If I had to have Jack as my son, I would love him very much. And
you basically do with Moo.
I would look forward to the day in which I didn't have to deal with him anymore.
Oh man,
but I would love him all the way until that day.
You know, I have like a fear of becoming a parent. Eventually, I think that I might like to have a little fucker, a little baby Mobley running around. But like having a baby Jack is like my biggest fear.
I'm imagining, Hunter, I'm imagining like your kid's born and you're asking the doctor, you're like, Forrest Gump, is he like...
I like put a little tiny propeller cap on his head and spin it for him.
Like, is he like a little scamp like me?
Is he a little naughty boy?
Is he a little
All right,
fucker?
guys, you start seeing this girl and she's like really, really cool. Like she's like, oh my God, she's perfect. She has like this like whimsy to her. You do find out that she's 10 and she's an adult.
No, it's like Charlize Theron's character in
it's
Arrested
Mr. F.
Development.
I was thinking about that a lot.
No, it really is the same thing of going full Mr. F is just the same thing as
This
going
mysterious
full Jack.
hot British girl.
Guys, I know what I'm doing if I have Jack as a son. First of all, why isn't Jack famous? Like world famous? He's
Right,
like
He should be a science study like around the world.
He should have a TLC show.
Yeah. So I'm making a documentary about his entire life.
Yes, that's a
birth
great
to death.
idea.
Dad does like photography stuff.
Yeah. I edit it together. It becomes the most like
A sensation.
it's lauded as the greatest documentary of all time,
Yeah,
and then I win an Oscar.
Yeah, and because it's also like it's like a character study of like you trying to grapple with parenting this boy. Like, you know,
Yeah.
I would
it's
make it
really
all about myself.
self-serving.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
for sure.
And you guys were like, "Holy shit!" Collin made the great documentary about his anomaly child.
About his old
It's
son.
Hoop Dreams, but it's about a child
Yeah.
trying to become an adult.
You're like, "Holy
it's-
shit!" Collin made the world a better place with his movie.
Colin, that is so.
It's a great idea.
That's so smart.
That's the best
They
one.
need to
that's
be
it. That's the
using
winner.
Jack.
Yeah, I would take advantage of this little fucker. I'd be like, you're costing me
They're
everything.
keeping a the story of a lifetime locked away in a tower with Bill Cosby.
He's fucking Rapunzel.
Oh, all right.
Man.
The next category is good Robin or bad Robin.
I'll say it. I think it's bad Robin. I think it's doing the most Robin. I think that like he's trying his best, but overall it ends up being bad.
I think it's
not
okay. I think the issue is because of the script. He's not always trying to be funny. He's just trying to be 10, and that's like weird sometimes.
Yeah.
The thing about this movie is that like you can tell that nobody really has bad intentions. Like no one is going into this for the wrong reasons, but on the other side of it, it turns out that nothing worked.
But there is part of me that wonders because the kids aren't playing it earnestly. The kids are playing it for humor a lot of times.
Yeah.
And so then there's a lot of scenes
being a good director.
Yeah, there's a lot of scenes where it's like it should be a comedic scene, but Robin is overplaying the part. Like I think Robin is playing it too earnestly. Robin's too sucked in on the idea of being a 10-year-old that he's not being his fun Robin self. When in reality, fun zany Robin has a childlike quality to him. He could have just channeled that, but instead he focused too hard on like I'm going to make myself baby brain.
I think they should have worked the script a little bit around him more, because what they should have done is been like, yeah, no, he's just been inside watching TV, and so he can do all these fun impressions, and then we let Robin do his
honestly,
we let Robin do his genie shit.
Yeah, a real 90s kid. He's just riffing.
He's a TV
By the
kid.
way,
he does a great Bill Clinton.
One of the writers of this is a relative unknown who didn't do anything important. The other one, this was the first screenplay by the guy who ended up writing every single Purge movie.
Oh, wow.
What?
It's a similar deal too. It's like a pitch idea. It's like, oh, that's clever. Oh wait, no, it's actually stupid.
Exactly.
So it's like the same type of thing.
Yeah.
Hey, at least he made a career out of it.
It's like
this guy's probably loaded.
Oh, of course.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna say this is good, Robin. He's doing the job done. A lesser actor, this movie would like really actually be like one of the worst of all time.
Well, yeah, because if you could cast someone to go like full funny and do like fucking like Jim Carrey or whatever,
right?
But then like this movie wants to be kind of dramatic. And then also if you were to really cast someone method, and like if you were to do it today and make like a real drama, you would cast like fucking like Eddie Redmayne.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he would be really hardcore, just like, oh, I'm this tortured soul 10-year-old who's been inside his whole life. And like, oh, I just, you know, like, and that sucks.
It's tough because you're right. Like the thing is that any other way, any other actor, it's somehow even worse. You know, it's like this, even though this movie like doesn't really click together, it's kind of weirdly the best case scenario of it for what it is.
Yeah, whereas like something like Awakenings, I think Robin should have done better in Awakenings.
Yeah.
I don't know how with this script, I don't know how much better he can do. The script isn't asking him to improvise and be a kid.
Also,
they're asking him to say lines.
Well, I think that's
and the lines are written.
Yeah, I just feel like he could have had more fun with the role. There's not really anything fun about the Robin Williams performance, except for in certain scenes he's having fun. But like, and a lot of it, I think that's just maybe I'm giving Coppola too much credit.
I don't think Coppola is trying to shoot a funny comedy movie.
Well, but I think a lot of the other characters are more funny and are doing more slapsticky
I know
stuff.
They're the comic relief. He's the tragic but also kind of funny lead. And
I think
the adults are like,
I think this movie, it could not be saved in any way.
No, exactly.
It's a cursed film.
I don't think it's Robin's. I don't think it's Robin's fault, but I'll say okay, Robin, and that's also the best Robin could be here.
The other thing too is that like you could really just look at this two ways. Like you could look at Robin's performance on its own, or you could look at it through the lens of the movie that's around him, and the movie that's around him just does not do him any favors, even though the performance is for what it is good. It is good Robin, but there's so much like obscuring the good Robin that like you kind of have to take it all together, you know? And I could go either way. I think I'll go good Robin, even though it's like I didn't necessarily love it. the performance.
I don't know if this is good Robin, then like I don't even know what bad Robin is at this point. Like moving forward at the rest of the filmography, like I think that it goes up from here. It doesn't go back down.
The thing is that like I think that for what it is, he is doing a good job at it, even if the movie doesn't click. And also, this movie was a hit. This movie made $58 million on a $45 million budget, and it's because of him.
Wait, that's not a hit.
Yeah, okay. It made a profit, a tiny profit, but not.
That's probably a big disappointment for the studio.
Okay. I wouldn't call it a hit. It wasn't a bomb, right? It wasn't
toys. It
opened at #1 that weekend, right? So it's like it didn't underperform massively. It's like it had some type of. It carried some type of level of success, even if it wasn't massive, because of Robin, right? And reviews were bad, but reviews didn't really trash his performance.
Yeah, because it's just like, what are you gonna do? Like, if you're him, like there's nothing you can do.
It has a 17% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's really, really low. I mean, like, yeah, it's not a very good movie, but like, goddamn, 17. Like it could be like a 42.
Well, because it's just a binary of do you recommend it or not.
Also,
it's 100 or 0.
Rotten Tomatoes was a lot like the Rotten Tomatoes that we have now is completely different than like what I mean. Rotten Tomatoes didn't exist in 1986, but if it did, it would be completely different because of the aggregation of it. There's a bit. Okay, so the consensus on Rotten Tomatoes says. Robin Williams' childlike energy is channeled in all the wrong places. A bizarre tragedy that aims for uplift but sinks deep into queasy schmaltz.
Yeah, it's just like you have to pick. This movie was too scared to choose what type of movie it wanted to be.
Variety called it a tedious, uneventful fantasy that wastes the talents of the filmmakers.
Do you have pulled up what Ebert gave it? I have it pulled up right here.
Yeah, go for it.
1.5 stars.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Not like horrifically bad, but that's bad.
And
anything
was
under
also
2 stars is
pretty
not
generous most of the time.
Well, especially on like if you were a seasoned filmmaker, like Ebert has the very famous quote about like a great director doesn't make bad movies. Like just thinking like there's something to admire in every film. So if it's Coppola making this, like if it's just some random no name, then this is probably closer to just a straight 1-star movie. But it's not great.
Yeah, but Coppola is like literally one of the greatest filmmakers of all time.
Yeah.
And this
how great is it that like
close to his other work.
We've now been doing this podcast for 5 years, and this is the first time that we've ever talked about a Coppola movie.
Well, you touched on Godfather during your
I talked about it because I've seen the movies as part of the
your Oscar
you can watch your little fucking Godfather.
Okay, cool. We
talked
Jack.
about Apocalypse Now way back in the day.
Did we?
Or I did. I remember seeing
you know what? We did, because it got re-released at the final Redux.
Yeah.
Because Coppola, God, does our guy love to edit his old movies because he can't make a good one anymore. Yeah, can we get the Coppola cut of Jack? It's like 3
Jack
hours.
Redux. Re-Jack.
Re-Jack.
So this is what Coppola had to say about the anti-Jack, the Jacklash. Jack was a movie that everybody hated, and I was constantly damned and ridiculed for. I must say I find Jack sweet and amusing. I don't dislike it as much as everyone, but that's obvious. I directed it. I know I should be ashamed of it, but I'm not. I don't know why everyone hated it so much. I think it was because of the type of movie
this is like the big speech at the end of a movie about like a guy with like a tiny dick or something.
Yeah, he's just like, I don't know why. I tried really hard.
I don't care what you guys
do they know
think.
how hard I tried whenever I was making it? If they knew that, then they'd probably like it more.
It was considered that I had made Apocalypse Now and I'm like a Marty Scorsese type of director. And here I am making this dumb Disney film with Robin Williams. but I was always happy to do any type
No,
of
but it's
film.
bad, though.
Yeah, no, that's the problem is that like
It's bad.
you can do a family film and it can be fun and good and everything else, but like you can do a Chris Columbus movie if you want to do a Chris Columbus movie, but this is bad. And also weirdly, again, has a lot of adult themes like how horny the children are. So like it's in this weird in between where
Right.
just like, who the fuck is this movie for? Like, what is the audience? It's not 10-year-olds. I think it's like 14-year-olds. Is that the audience?
It's
for it?
grandma.
I think it's grown-ups.
Yeah.
Well, but like, it's also like too childish for a lot of grown-ups too,
No.
though. So
It's Colin. Colin's the audience.
Colin, you're the audience.
It's the Goody family.
Francis made it for you.
They're like, give it like 20 years. He'll rewatch it and be like, oh, this is funny because of how deranged it is.
Yeah.
And then we'll finally achieve something with Jack. I mean, honestly, I kind of like that Ford Coppola is just kind of like, yeah, like I stand by it. Like it wasn't a very big hit, but I made it.
I think he should insist that it's his best movie.
Yeah. Fuck The Godfather.
Yeah, he should have refused to do like the 50-year celebration of The Godfather, so he could be like,
No,
Hey.
Jack.
"Hey, how about like a 26-year celebration of Jack, huh?
Yeah.
How about that?"
Yeah, like maybe we can get like a fucking Jack Blu-ray or something, Francis. Like,
There's no
come on.
blue?
Mm-mm.
I don't know. There
I
might
think
be.
it only got a European release, so it's basically just a DVD. Because a lot of times, if movies are on DVD in America and they just get a Blu-ray release in Europe, it's just a fucking DVD rip that they put on a Blu-ray. Let me double check that, but I'm pretty sure that I.
While you're doing that, how many Robins out of 10?
Yes.
The intensity, it's definitely not. It's not at the top.
I have it in like the 4 or 5 range.
Whoa, no! This is like a 9. This
What the
is
hell?
he's doing
Do you remember
so much.
Genie?
Yeah.
Genie is like way more
guys,
than this.
Again, we talked about it on the last episode that we have to reevaluate the Robin scale. He never goes more Robin than he's doing right here. This is the best. This is the most Robin for the rest of his filmography. Because after this movie, he's like, I need to tone it back a bit. I think as far as mid to late career Robin, this is as high as we're gonna get.
I know.
Okay.
I was gonna say 7.
Yeah, farting in the treehouse. That's got to
The only time-
Eating gruel.
The only time he's like mega manic Robin mode is that phone conversation you were talking
the
about.
thing is that there's so many moments like the farting that reminded me a lot of Hook, like the imaginary feast in Hook, and it's like that was so much better.
Huh.
You know, and it's like there's so many moments where he does go big, he does go kind of big Robin, but it's been done before in other movies better.
I think,
So I gotta knock it down.
but it's the intensity. It's not.
Yeah, I'm
the-
giving
it's
it.
not the
I'm giving it like
quality.
an 8.5. I think
I'll
that
give
this is like as most Robin as we're gonna get for like the mid to late career Robins.
I'll give it like a 6. I don't think he's really ever like chewing scenery or going like that far deep. He does scream a few times, like really, really loudly.
He screams, and the first scene where he goes out on the playground, he's making animal noises and like getting inside the box, and then he's like squirming around in the little
was
tunnel and everything. He's doing the thing wherever there's a ledge where he like walks on the ledge like how kids do. Like he is going balls to he is doing the most, and it's not as loud necessarily, but he's going the most childlike.
But that's also not the most Robin, because
But
also
it's the most classical Robin.
Good Morning Vietnam is classical Robin. That's not childlike.
But I think that we have to recalibrate the Robin scale.
We can't.
because he's never going to do that.
I know, but
again.
then it's all lower.
Well, then everything's going to be like a 4 or lower, and then it's just like
Well, no, that's
you're
why I think this
debating like a
this makes sense as like a 7. It also, I think, one thing that we could all probably agree on is it's definitely 10 Jacks out of 10.
No, I can definitely agree with that. Yeah,
I don't know. I think I might go like a 7
No,
on that
this is
scale.
this is fully
It's an
jacked.
8. It's an 8 on the Robin scale and a 7 on the Jack scale.
Okay, the last category is
Because we
recaging.
never got an answer if he's ever had a boner before.
Recaging Couch. Where would you put Nicolas Cage in this movie?
Easy. He is the cokehead who starts a fight with Robin Williams in the adult bar.
Great.
That scene is so much better. For
What about
if
Michael
Nicolas Cage is like,
McKean?
hey, what was that? Why'd you bump into me? You need to apologize right now.
Yeah.
I was
That
thinking
rocks.
the same thing, Ernest, the Michael McKean guy. That could be Nick Cage, or just make Nick Cage the dad.
Or
But
just
then-
make him damn Jack.
That was my.
Come on.
I want to see Nick Cage's version of Jack.
Well,
but
Francis would never cast his own nephew.
Yeah, not leaving Las Vegas. Nicolas Cage though, where he's like actually playing it very
Wild at
dry.
Heart Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, I want like I'm a cat. I want that Nicolas Cage as Jack.
He can do it.
What about a Jack face-off crossover?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
We did almost have Travolta.
Yeah.
Travolta doing this is a train wreck.
It would be literally the worst movie of all time.
Shit.
Coming off of like all of the cloud of Pulp Fiction, he's like, guys, I'm working with Ford Coppola.
Hey, I'm a little baby, Sandy.
Spectacular.
So, now recasting the main role.
I mean, I said it earlier. Any other person you put in here, it just completely falls apart.
Ben
Hanks
Stiller
has
in
played
Tropic
a kid very
Tropic
empathetically
Thunder.
before, so Hanks makes sense, obviously, as always.
It only works with Robin.
Yeah, because Hanks also like doesn't like Robin looks like he has something wrong with him.
It's Ben Stiller in Tropic Thunder. That's the only way that you're making this as like a satire. If you're making this,
Right.
Robin looks like he has some kind of disease, so it makes sense to cast him here.
What about like Michael Keaton?
No.
that's like if you just only had the earnest dramatic. That's the Awakenings version of Jack, or it's so boring.
Yo, okay, if we're going funny mode, Chris Farley.
Yeah.
I could see that a little bit
That
more.
would own. He is a kid in Tommy
he
Boy.
is just a kid.
He's like a dumb baby.
I mean, Adam Sandler is probably the easiest comparison with like something like Billy Madison or anything like that, but you have to completely change the vibe of the rest of the movie. I think it's fun. I think that here's how you would make that movie is that you would like have Adam Sandler as the role. He's kind of like big comedic guy. He's doing like very, very broad comedy. And you make Diane Lane's character like the emotional crux.
Diane Lane is like, son, you are dying.
Yeah.
You are going to die.
No,
and
that's
he's like,
how-
yes, shut up.
That's how you flip it, is that you have to have the mom character be the big core, or you have like the Bill Cosby character die, and then like he learns like about his own mortality because he's aging faster than the other kids.
Or you put Jim Carrey and he fully ruins his career, and we don't get like all
What
the
if,
great Carrey
yeah, what if
roles
it's
after
Jack, but like
this.
instead of like like being a child, he like put on, I don't know, like a mask of some kind that like made him turn to like a cartoon character.
Because the thing is that like Robin Williams' career it was not ruined by this movie. It just kind of came and went. People are like, oh, that was weird. But like, I think a Jim Carrey, like his entire career would be derailed.
Well,
by
yeah,
this
it's because
movie.
Robin already had like so much, like over a decade of like stockpile
clout was
film.
there.
Yeah. Carrey's like in his first couple of years of being famous, so this could
It would
fuck
ruin
things
a
up
man.
a little bit.
I'm trying to see other 90s
Will
people.
Ferrell.
Richard Dreyfuss.
Richard Dreyfuss, again, if you're trying to do the dry, dramatic Oscar bait version of this movie.
Mel Gibson.
Yo!
Mel Gibson and Bill Cosby.
That's the only man in Hollywood
Boy,
that can
oh
match
boy.
the hairiness that Robin Williams brings you.
Christian Slater, Kiefer Sutherland.
I'm 10 years old.
Kiefer is like, he's like got the full boy, like Kiefer is a hunk right now. You have to get somebody who's like kind of ugly. Somebody who's a little bit older and like kind of ugly. Because you don't want, as much as everyone is horny for Robin Williams, you can't have like a hot older guy in this movie. Because then that's just like distracting. If like Hugh Grant is Jack, and you're like, wait, what's happening right now?
Yeah, it has to
or
be-
like Pierce Brosnan in 1996.
I want it to be Chris Farley. I think-
That's the best one I've heard. I'm just scrolling through 1996 on Letterboxd. Weird year, guys. Very weird year. I mean, we talked about this with Birdcage last time because this was like the Fargo year, Mission Impossible. There's a lot of random shit. Michael came out this year. Isn't that one of your favorite movies, Colin? Michael.
Ooh, it's a stinker, that's for sure. It's a similar deal as Jack. Like, pitch concept. Fuck it. He's a John Travolta. He's an angel, but
He's not just an angel. He's Michael.
He's like an asshole in the movie too. He like drinks and smokes. Like it's not like an uplifting movie. It's not very good.
Any last thoughts on Jack, boys? Anything that we didn't get to that you wanted to bring up?
I'm sad that you guys didn't find it as cute and as charming as I did.
Well, I'm happy for you, Collin, and I found it so charming that you gave it 5 stars on Letterboxd. That was very cute.
That was the most charming thing about the Jack experience, was seeing after you watched Jack that
yes.
Colin gave it 5 stars.
That's why I love you, because like I just go on there and I'm like, everyone's trashing it, and then there's Collin.
Colin, what's it like that like your review of Jack and my review of Minions: Rise of Gru is exactly the same? Both of them are just 5-star reviews on Letterboxd.
You know, if I could talk to Coppola, I'd be like, I give it 5 stars on Letterboxd.
Yeah, hell yeah.
He'd be like, who are you?
Buy his wine, dude.
Yeah, really support him.
It's pretty mids wine.
I actually I heard that Coppola is on Letterboxd secretly as Brad Pitt.
Oh no. Oh no.
No, he's Silent Dawn on Letterboxd. Leaving those annoying ass long.
He's the guy who leaves out of a 100 reviews on Letterboxd.
Well, can that guy fuck off forever?
gives all the Star Wars prequels like 5 stars.
Yeah, get out of my damn face,
get
Silent
the fuck,
Dawn.
guys. I'm sorry. Things from your childhood are just bad, and we don't have to reevaluate everything from your childhood to now it's suddenly good.
Yeah, but if you write enough words, it's actually good.
Yeah, if you do like a per word count, per word is the boost of the star rating. Colin, I enjoyed revisiting this film. I will say
I'm
that
glad
because
I watched it.
Oh,
I
loved
movie.
it.
Again, like I said, I've seen this movie so many times on cable and like segments and everything. The like, can Jack come out to play? That scene is like burned in my head for some reason.
It is a fascinating object.
Yeah, exactly. It is a piece of media. It's definitely is a motion picture.
It's a misguided piece of 90s family filmmaking.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a parabola movie. Let's just say that. I was fascinated by it, and I think that it's bad and should have never existed and should be fucking hurled to the bottom of the ocean.
It's one of those where like Coppola probably plenty of directors would have made a worse version, but also there are directors who would have made a better movie than this. Like Chris Columbus probably makes it better.
It's a tough
Reiner
premise to get right.
If Rob Reiner gets to fuck around with the script and then make this, he makes a good movie, straight up.
Make it rated R.
Rob Reiner
please.
owns.
I think there's a lot of. We said this is the best version. I do not think. I think that there are better versions to this movie.
If you make it rated R.
Well, or if you make it rated PG and you just don't make the kids so goddamn horny. Maybe PG-13 is the problem. Either go PG or go R, but like it ends up in this weird middle ground where, again,
strange.
Who the fuck is this movie for? Right. Like, that's kind of the central question I keep coming back to is like, I don't know what age.
I mean, not a ton of people, according to the box office.
Yeah.
Not for a lot of people.
It's way too silly for adults and way too dramatic for children. So ultimately it's for, no one.
It's for the goodies.
Yeah. For the Goody family, because we had this on VHS. We watched it a couple times. And I was like, I went to my brother and I was like, do you ever get a boner? And they were like, maybe we shouldn't have Collin watch this again.
It's ruined his brain.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Yeah, my parents are really concerned. They're like, he gave Jack 5 stars on Letterboxd. That is a thought-provoking portrayal of mortality. Trust me, I think way more annoying about Jack than just giving it 5 stars on Letterboxd. Should I become one of those Letterboxd users that like gives like poorly made movies? They're like, oh, this is actually one of my favorites.
If you're genuine about it, yeah, like that's the thing about Jack. Like I feel like you are a genuine Jack head.
I love
it's not just a bit.
Movie. It's an entertaining movie, but it's like it's not good.
I had so much fun watching it though.
Love. Yeah, exactly. Like I could watch it again.
Yeah, it's like wildly flawed, and it's like really, really fun to watch. When a lot of flawed movies are not fun to watch.
I do just want to point out that I'm now looking at Colin's Letterboxd right now, and you do have The Godfather Part 2 at only 4 stars. so therefore, Jack is a better film than The Godfather Part 2.
That's what you were saying earlier. That for Colin, it goes Godfather, Jack,
Godfather Part 2.
I already knew this. Hey, 4 stars is a good rating.
Right.
Colin is pretty objective on there.
Yeah.
Well, the fun thing about Letterboxd is that like you can make it whatever the fuck you want it to be. So it's like you can give a movie that's not good a perfect rating. Who gives a fuck?
Who would do that? I don't know anyone who would ever do that, especially for a kids movie that came out this year with yellow people.
Yeah, no one.
Should I make a dedicated Jack Twitter daily Jack post?
Please, I will retweet
every frame of Jack.
Every frame of Jack.
I don't know if I have the time for that, but it's a great idea.
I'll help you create a bot, and then we can just get that to like auto post like once every hour.
Every frame of Jack podcast, where like every episode like maybe 45 minutes on each frame.
I'm gonna shoot myself.
One perfect shot.
Can't do this. I'm gonna inhale
Jack shot.
I'm gonna inhale like a can of worm farts.
Of farts.
Yeah. And just get a fucking stage 3 concussion.
What if Jack like smelled the farts and died?
Jack
no,
smelled his own farts.
He would grow more power.
What if he smelled Bill Cosby's farts and died?
Wait, no one pointed out the moment where he tears off Bill Cosby's pants in the first
he's like,
scene
I
of
see
the
your
movie.
crack. And Bill's like, do you know?
It's rotten up there.
Yeah.
My insides are rotten.
All right, Jack. We did it.
Fuck this movie.
Jack.
Man.
Jack.
Colin, thank you so much for bringing this movie to us. It was a wild ride. We had you on for Nick Cage. We had you on for Wild at Heart and Leaving Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. And those 2 movies were great. I think this one just kind of seals the deal as a much more bomb.
Would you recommend a triple feature of Wild at Heart into Leaving Las Vegas into Jack?
That's so upsetting.
At the end of the day, you're like tying your noose like halfway through Jack. Just fucking end it all.
No, I appreciate that you really give us the widest possible palette of that cinema has to offer, and that's why we love you.
Who knows what I'll nab next time? Maybe like a Southland Tales, another famous misguided strange movie.
Yeah, that's the one with Justin Timberlake, right?
Yeah.
And The Rock.
Maybe one day if we're doing the Rock.
Timberlake has a fast track on our next series.
Really, just penciling it in now.
Everyone watch it with me.
You're trying to get us to do a Richard Kelly series, and I could just do one movie, and then I would just want to dip out.
Yeah, that could be done in one podcast.
Yeah, it's a one episode.
Do a Donnie Darko episode.
Well, thank you so much, man. Is there anything that you're up to these days that you want to let the people know about?
Unfortunately, my life is really boring, and no, I don't.
You want to plug your restaurant?
Yeah, my restaurant. Come to my restaurant that I'm managing.
Hell yeah.
It's great. So no, my life's really boring. This is the most exciting thing I've done in a long time. So thank you guys.
Well, we hope to have you on again soon. We're going to be talking about Robin for a little while longer.
I'll be listening.
Yeah, so maybe we'll have to have you on for something else and not wait until the next career arc series. So hopefully sooner rather than later. Maybe Halloween Ends. We'll be ready to shoot ourselves for Halloween Ends.
Wait,
will we end ourselves?
Did you see Halloween Kills?
No.
God, that movie sucks so hard. Colin knows. Colin warned me about it, and I was still like, "Oh, it'll be fun. It'll be fun." And then I was just miserable in the theater. I hated it.
Yeah, it's I have the novelization of Halloween Kills. I want to read the book and see if it's better than the movie.
It can't be much worse.
Laurie Strode, come out to play.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you know this, Ernest, but evil dies tonight. Evil dies. Evil does die tonight.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening and watching. Please be sure to rate, review, subscribe, like, and comment, and let us know what you thought of Jack parentheses 1996.
Mm-hmm.
We are continuing our series with Father's Day, an Ivan Reitman film.
Never heard of that.
Me neither. Yeah,
Billy Crystal?
Yeah, co-starring Billy Crystal.
Who's coming
Let's
on?
go.
We have a special guest for that one. We have a also very special guest for Flubber after that.
Flubber's gonna be an unhinged pod. I'm just fully ready for it now.
Yeah.
I've done what Colin, what you've done for Jack, I've now done for Flubber. I've seen Flubber multiple times recently.
Yeah.
And I'm fully ready for that.
Thank you all for tuning in. Stick around for Nope as well. We'll be talking about Jordan Peele's latest, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening. We love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.